The Toronto Raptors nearly win against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the best team in the Western Conference, and it was a tough game. It was a tough game, and I know what the chatter is going to be. I know it. I absolutely know it. It's going to be, look, Scotty Barnes disappeared in the fourth quarter. Why didn't he do more in the fourth quarter? He should have been better in the fourth quarter. Look, man, this is one of the highest usage, best performing fourth quarter, late game, overtime guys over the last 2.5 years. We've seen it over and over again. So this game was a weird departure, right? Don't defend Scotty on this one. Pinsari had a crap fourth. Yeah, man. I don't think he had a great game. Absolutely. Let's talk about this game. This was a very interesting one. There's a call-in link. Definitely call in. We have NY4 Raps waiting up. We'll definitely get to that. Link is in the description. No ad. Does that mean we're not monetized? We should be monetized. We will check. Anyways, let's share the screen here. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, the Toronto Raptors were up by 23 freaking points and somehow managed to lose this game. And if you are pro tank, this is the best game of your life. You're very happy with this game. You're very happy with this outcome because the Raptors very well could have won this game, should have won this game, and probably did win this game in another world. But in this world, the Raptors collapsed. And there was a lot of Dennis Schroeder. I'll take you through exactly where it happened. The game swung exactly at the 6-minute mark of the third quarter. So, the Raptors led huge going into the first, at the end of the first quarter, they have that, kerfuffle of plays where Thaddeus Young just tosses it up and completes an 8-0 run. And the Raptors lead by 10. Right. And you're going into the second quarter kind of like nervous, like, oh, here comes the OKC Thunder. And they couldn't do anything against this Raptors defense. It really messed them up. Right. There's a little bit of zone. Gary Trent Jr. was very good. I believe he played 40 minutes tonight. Manuel Quickley's point of attack defense was not that bad. Scotty Barnes anchoring the paint a little bit. Jakob Poeltl, one of his better games. RJ Barrett back in the lineup. The Raptors fully healthy. And really took it to the Thunder, man. Like, this was about as impressive a performance on the road. I need to remind you, this is a team that lost to the Detroit Pistons. I keep bringing it back to that. You know how many times a nearly fully healthy Toronto Raptors team has lost to, like, some of the worst teams in the league to go in on the road, right? Against the OKC Thunder in the midst of, a long road trip, and your season's kind of, they're playing for something. They have something on the line here, and you kind of really don't. You move to 15 games under 500. The Raptors, notoriously one of the worst road teams in the league. After this game, they moved to 7-19. And I tell you, the compete level and the execution, the passing, they didn't know what to do. They doubled Shea on, like, if he held the ball for more than 4 seconds, that double came. And it came accurate. It came controlled. And they recovered when he passed out of it. It came back. Time and time again. I mean, I was just impressed by how they dealt with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The OKC Thunder, I mean, they closed down the paint for shot. I mean, the OKC Thunder take a lot of threes. They took 63 threes tonight and shot 36%, which is league average. If they shoot 40%, you're not in this game. But they shoot 36.5%, so you were in this game. Okay, a lot of threes were makeable threes. They missed them. There's a little bit of shooting variance here. Some of them were open threes, and they just missed them, right? There were a lot of impressive performances tonight. Some notable DNP CDs who have been playing, quite frankly, a lot. Jordan Nwora gets a DNP CD. Chris Boucher collects his second straight DNP CD. Probably about to get traded. Otto Porter collects what feels like his 38,000th straight DNP CD, despite the fact that he is completely healthy right now. Jalen McDaniels, who's been flashing some good things for the Raptors, he collects a DNP CD. Darko Rajakovic goes with a 9-man rotation. This team is so weird, You're trying to figure out, what are they trying to do? Like, are they trying to win? Are they trying to lose? Are they trying to win in a way and then lose late. What are they doing? It's weird, right? Scotty Barnes played 48 minutes tonight. And people are like, yo, I wonder why he didn't have gas in his legs. I get it. A lot of good performances tonight. Let's talk about them. RJ Barrett, very assertive, has a huge poster dunk. He played 43 minutes tonight. Defense, yikes. Some questionable late game defensive issues for RJ Barrett, right? He ends the game as the Raptors leading scorer with 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. Emmanuel Quickley, despite shooting kind of tough, had some very competent playmaking down the stretch. He was the Raptors' featured guy in both overtimes, and for better or worse, at times, that last shot, which gets blocked against Chet, his release is giving me some concern that he might just be too slow to have a release. Sorry, he might be too small to have a release that slow. And I've been trying to wonder why, to some extent, his playoff numbers with New York have been not so great. That might be it. Because when you really dial in on him and he becomes a featured guy, he needs these reps just as badly as Scotty does, right? To the people who are saying, no, Scotty needs all the reps. No. Believe me, Emmanuel Quickley needs these reps as well. So does RJ Barrett. This is a young team. They all need these reps, okay? And quite frankly, if Scotty is going to draw the matchup of Lou Dort, who is one of the premier perimeter defenders in the league, right? Then Quickley is going to be the guy who's got a mismatch on either Shea, not a great defender, or, despite the fact he racks up a lot of steals, he's not a great defender. Josh Giddey, not a great defender. Chet Holmgren, pretty good defender, but in space, if you can get him out, he might struggle. So, yeah, let's bring it back to that third quarter. The Raptors come out in the second half, and again, you're expecting a storm, right? Because the Raptors are not a very good team. They're on the road, and they're facing a team that is a very good team. And the Raptors blitz the Thunder by, they were up 16 points at halftime, and they extended that lead to 23. And it was around the 6-minute mark of the third quarter when Scotty Barnes checked out. Let me show you where that happened. Right there. Do you see it? Do you see it? Literally, the Thunder could not do shit. Do you see it? Give me a W if you see that. Right there. That is exactly when Scotty checked out. Okay? And then, kaboom. There goes your lead. He checked in 3 minutes later. The Raptors had scored 2 points in those 3 minutes. I think the Thunder had scored 13. And the lead had slowly evaporated, and momentum had swung, and momentum, frankly, did not stop swinging. And, Scotty came back, and I think he had some very productive moments in the first fourth. Hey, Carlo, thanks a lot for the super chat, man. Your Pendants ticket is on me, my friend. By the way, Carlo is an actor. Carlo, there is a freaking amazing Italian feature on Sunday night. My friend, you must see this. It just won the jury prize at Slam Dance, coming to Canada. Thanks a lot for the super chat. I really appreciate it. To those who don't know the connection here, Carlo was a lead actor in my feature. He's also a lead actor in probably my most popular short ever, which I will definitely play for somebody sometime. Anyways, moving on. So the momentum swings, and I felt it was a lot of Dennis Schroeder, man. A lot of Dennis taking shots, a lot of Dennis pounding the rock, a lot of Dennis setting up. Like, I didn't understand what the hell was going on there. Honestly, man, like I'm at a point right now where I am just concerned. Why is he playing? They tell you not to care too much about plus minus. That negative 23 is fully earned, man. Fully earned. He did not man a whole bunch of bench units. That was like him legit sucking the air out of basketball a lot. Okay? Like, you were in this game and he just, a lot of stagnant offense, a lot of tough shots, a lot of, there was like that clank, clank, clank 3. man, these numbers would look a lot worse without that fluke 3 going in, right? So I think Dennis he's been good. He's been really good. You haven't heard me say shit about him for like the last, I want to say 4 or 5 games. I haven't said anything. He's been really good. His minutes have been limited. He's been playing like 22 to 27 minutes. And I think in those dosages, he's fine. Granted, you go to double overtime, so maybe everyone's numbers are going to go up a little bit. But I think he had crossed like close to 28, 29 minutes in regulation. And then he just played most of overtime. And I just don't. Look, man, the season is kind of lost at this point. Seeing Grady Dick play 10 minutes when he was playing really freaking well. Like really well. He played really well. Okay, I don't give a shit what you say. He had 6 points in 10 minutes. He was playing pretty competently defensively. What is the point of just giving him a DMP PCD in the second half? I don't understand that at all. Right? Bruce Brown, okay, another terrible performance. Thank you for limiting that, Darko Rajakovic. And, Thaddeus Young competently steps in. He had a big steal on Chet Holmgren. On the Thunder side, right, a tame game from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I think Darko, really had a great game plan for him. He obviously finds a ton of, advantages outside of, the Thunder are just such a dynamic team, right? They're able to initiate their entire offense through either himself or through Giddey or through Dort, or through Chet. They do a whole bunch of inverted pick and rolls. It's really interesting. I was looking at the starting lineup and I'm like, who's the power forward here? Is it Cason Wallace? If Cason Wallace was indeed the starting power forward tonight, that does make me think that might have been the shortest starting power forward in NBA history. He's 6'3". He's 6'2 and a half, 6'3". So that's crazy. In terms of the Thunder, honestly, they don't get a ton from Waters or Jang. I think Jang was predictably terrible. I think Wiggins gave them a ton off the bench, and Mitchich was, despite the fact that he only scores 3 points, he was a constant threat out there. So much of just having a player like the Thunder just did not get a ton off their bench other than Wiggins, right? That's Aaron Wiggins, not Andrew Wiggins, for those who are wondering who that Wiggins scoring 20 points off the bench was. In terms of like really who broke their back late, obviously it was Josh Giddey and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Josh Giddey just hitting a couple threes late. Not a good 3-point shooter, but he hits both his tonight, like two big ones late. Chet Holmgren, again, kind of a quiet game from him. 5 rebounds in 41 minutes. Credit Jakob Poeltl for keeping him off the glass and just generally abusing him a lot. I think the Raptors kind of had their way with him. Scotty went into him a couple times. Yak went into him. Like you really feel why this is a team that could possibly trade for a Jakob Poeltl. They could use him. Okay. So yeah. I don't know, man. What are my takeaways for this game? My takeaways are if you're pro tank, this is exactly the type of game you want to see. Okay. The Raptors, the Thunder took 9 more shots than the Raptors. They get 3 more offensive rebounds. Turnovers were almost dead even. Points in the paint, the Raptors win that battle. The Raptors' largest lead, again, as I mentioned, 23, and they collapse. So you can say, oh my gosh, that's terrible. They should have won this game. I really don't think that's a huge deal, man. I'm not sad about this loss at all. I'm happy this team played well. They shot 40% from 3 tonight. Scotty, I think, shot 3 for 5, including the air ball late. In terms of Scotty late, I'll give you my perspective on it. Of course, nobody wants to see their franchise player just mail it, And I don't use the word mail it lightly. I do think he was frustrated by something. Now, what was he frustrated by? I have no idea. Okay, nobody is inside Scotty Barnes' head, and for me to try to infer what was he upset about or what was he frustrated by, I have no idea. But it was not a typical assertive fourth quarter close for Scotty, winning time, eyes usually light up. His demeanor was different on the court. He gives up a really I mean, I think RJ got beat off the dribble, and then Scotty's the last man there, and he just fouls. He just fouls Josh Giddey, putting him at the line. I think he gave up an and one on that one, right? Clutch Tatum saying his ankle. It certainly could be that. It could be. He did come down gimpy. He definitely did. And that was a shift. From that point to the end of the game, he was very unassertive driving the basket. He was very passive, just quick pass. We don't know what these athletes are going through. Again, possibly there was an injury. Possibly it was fatigue. This has been a long season, okay? Jacinto, I would love to see you out there on a basketball court for 3 minutes and see you literally lose your life as your lifeless lungs fall apart. You have any idea how many minutes this guy's played? To play 48 minutes in a high compete game where you're busting your ass defensively and offensively? Yeah. I mean, you might say he didn't play super well down the stretch, and I'll agree with you. But to act like this guy has not been carrying your dumbasses like the entire season is kind of weird to me. And also to make it like this is a fourth quarter closer. So I don't understand where people come at this from, right? He played pretty well up until about the 38-minute mark. From 38 to 48 minutes, he was ass. He was ass cheeks on defense. He was ass on offense. But can I please remind you that in a normal game, the entire criticism of Scotty is, why couldn't he play well in the first 38 minutes? Why did he only show up in the last 10? Well, now it's like, why did he only play well in the first 38 minutes? Why didn't he show up for the last 10? So it seems like the fans, haters, lovers, supporters, detractors seem to believe that unless Scotty is going to play a very complete 48 minutes, that he's a problem. Sure, whatever. I don't give a shit, man. To be honest, Rob's going to lose it tonight. No, Rob is good tonight. Like I have been pretty sleep deprived for, I want to say about, 10 days straight, 9 days straight. Yo, who the hell is banging up floors at 10:30? And geez, these people are crazy. No, I'm good. I'm good. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Sure. But the crown is being worn by a 22-year-old. A 22-year-old who may be going through some lingering injuries. I know last year when his jump shot completely evaporated that he was going through tendonitis, and I just had to watch like everybody say like he was trash and he was this and he was that. Gosh. Do you think Scotty's ideal weight is 227 like he came in as a rookie? 240 seems to be giving him issues with stamina. No, man, I think he's good. I think he's fine. I think 240 is going to be fine for him. He's a big dude. He's muscular. A lot of guys lose weight throughout the season. I very much doubt he's still 240. And by the way, just an FYI, 240 is not that much. For a guy who's 6'8", 6'9", 240 is not that much. Just for context, Pascal Siakam is about 242. Okay. Jacob Isaac, thanks so much for the super chat, man. Do you think Scotty's ideal weight is... okay, yeah, I just answered that. Okay, let's bring on some callers. NY4 Raps, FA. What's going on, guys?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Long time no talk.
Good. Busy, yeah. Oh, what a game. What a game. Scotty choked today.
Come on.
Yeah, he choked.
He choked. Bro, he didn't choke.
What it is. Scotty choked.
He didn't choke.
He's the franchise player. Scotty does not have that Mambo mentality. He is a
Come on.
great.
Come on. We're gonna do this after one game. Every game of the season.
I said he choked today.
Okay, but Michael Jordan has missed game winners, bro. Like everyone has these games.
It's not about missing game. It's not about missing game winner. It was too tentative. Let's be honest here. Let's call it spade a spade. Scott is not beyond reproach. Yeah, Scott is my favorite player, but he has everything to be a really great superstar. But you can't be tentative and say you want to be the man. Pascal is not here anymore. OG is not here anymore. Van Vliet is not here anymore. You are the man. Demand the ball. RJ is very, very aggressive. If you give Scotty RJ's aggressiveness, Scotty will be a superstar easily. He should be giving us 30-something points. Look at the ball. Okay, fine. People are saying he was injured or giving all the excuses in the world. In the overtime, it was right under. Hold on. It was right under the basket, and he gave the ball to Jacopo, and Jacopo missed a layup. Scotty should have scored that ball. Period.
Yeah.
Okay, wait a second. Let me tell you that.
I'm glad with the law because I'm pro-tanking.
That play that started out overtime, right? The Thunder get lost. Emmanuel quickly has the ball. Scotty Barnes is wide open underneath the rim. Mm-hmm. He does not throw him the basketball. He dribbles. Then he throws him the basketball. He waited 2 extra seconds, bro.
He gave the ball to Gary Trent. Scotty shouldn't give the ball to Gary Trent. Wouldn't play.
Hang on, one play at a time. So the play specifically that you're talking about, where he passes to Jakob, I believe, right? He passed to
under the rim. Scotty was right under the rim too.
Okay, he passed to Jakob. Jakob missed.
Why did he pass the ball to Jakob? That's the problem right there. He's the man. It doesn't matter. Scotty is 6'9". Scotty is 6'9". Dunk the ball or lay up the ball. Scotty could have scored that.
0 points on overtime. 0 points. Come on. Yeah. He gave the ball to Gary Trent. Gary Trent? Come on.
You talking about to end regulation or to end the first OT?
Like you pass the ball in the corner. Fine. I know. I can say everything. We can keep talking about Dennis Schroeder, right? Because he sucks. But this is Scotty's team. Yeah, this is Scotty's team right now.
Did you notice that Scotty walked off the court without shaking hands? He literally left the court within
because he played like crap in these 2 overtimes. That's call it spade is spade.
Well, at this point, I don't even know whether we should even call it Scotty team until he shows himself that he's ready to lead. Leaders are not made; leaders are born. Scotty has everything to give us 30-10 every night. 30-10.
Facts. Yeah, he can.
He has everything in him.
What does that say?
Scotty needs a psychology.
That is the most frustrating part about this game, right? Because if you want to rewatch the game, watch the OKC's commentators. That's why I watch the game. They said everything like this guy is too talented to be passing the ball to all these folks.
Exactly. I understand you want to play the game the right way, but you are the franchise player. You are the go-to guy. Scotty is not going to be a superstar or a mega superstar if he continues like this.
Bro, he's going to be a superstar regardless of what we say here. Don't worry, he will be.
Every time.
Superstar is not about numbers and passing and everything. People, the other team, they need to fear you. Exactly. They need to fear you. When you're playing Kobe, you're scared.
What I think it was 2020. Was it 2020 or 2021? What's his name again? Oh my God, this guy. He asked for the ball. They didn't give him the ball. He was mad.
Yeah.
What's this guy's name? It was in Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Kevin Durant.
I bet you $1,000 he will not be a superstar. Yo,
Jacinto, no.
You're gonna be holding for a long time to make up that money, bro.
Wait, this guy RJ wants it, right? If RJ has the talent, it will be RJ's team easily.
Jacinto about to be at the back of a McDonald's, bro. Like $5 at a time.
At every point, RJ attacks the basket. Scotty is busy passing the ball. It's not a point guard.
Dude, okay, here's the thing. Simmer down. Okay, let's not.
I'm glad we lost. Let me put it out there first because I'm a pro-tank right now because there's no point winning this game. And I'm watching Memphis. But if we had won today, would have been number 7.
A 23 points lead.
This is the first time since 2015 that Toronto lost a game that they've been winning, that they're leading by 20 points. The first time since 2015. That's the only sad part of losing this game. I would have preferred that it was close or true. But come on, Scott is the franchise, right? Go get the ball. Go get the ball.
Franchise player, franchise tank commander, bro. Absolutely doing what's best for the team always.
Then I agree with that, right? Because I've been following
now at the back of my mind, I still believe probably they told him, you know what, we're tanking. That's what I still believe at the back of my mind.
Because I've been following the draft, right? Their talents are in the top 6, really great talents, right? So honestly speaking, I want us to, if we can catch Portland, that's great for us. But at the same time, Scotty needs to be more assertive. We've been saying this for months and years and everything, right? He has the talent. That's the sad fact. He can get the basket anytime he wants to get the basket. And that's what the commentators from OKC, they were saying all game.
Yeah. Look, man, I think at some point you got to just look at this and say, Scotty is not RJ Barrett. Scotty is not Michael Jordan. He's not going to be like those guys. He's going to take good shots, and he's going to have to learn how to take bad shots. He's not very good at taking bad shots, which means that if he gets doubled, he passes. If he draws a really tough defender and somebody has an easy matchup, he passes. This is a role player quality that he has, right?
But play the percentages, right? Scotty shoots like 49%. Why would you be passing the ball to somebody that shoots like 42%?
And besides that, too, when are you going to say, okay, now is the fourth quarter? Now I need to call for the ball.
No. Let me play the devil's advocate. Yes, Scotty has been the fourth quarter guy, right? But today was completely different. Wow. I don't know what happened, but I don't want to start blaming it on injuries.
You can tell something was wrong. Something was wrong with him at the fourth quarter. At the fourth quarter, he was just on the other side of he wasn't even asking for the ball. Immediately gets the ball.
I don't want to give that excuse for him, because
it's you can keep saying
excuse,
bro.
No, hold on, let me finish. Hold on, let me finish. If you say it's injured or something like this happened, but he was still playing well on defense. If you're injured, you can't move around on defense. He was still trying to block shots. He was still doing it. Was he trying? He was still trying.
200% on defense today. 200%.
Early, not late. Late, he gave up a blow by. He gave up a terrible contest at the rim where he could have easily blocked the shot.
Because he was guarding two people. He was helping and guarding two people.
Yeah, was guarding two
people. He was. He will bleed. He will bleed. Then he will move back. He was trying. He will bleed. Then go back.
Yeah.
There was one time where where Gary Trent missed his man and Scotty was pissed under the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe, COBE, you're like one more caps lock away from getting blocked. Please stop with the caps lock, bro. It makes you look juvenile. It makes you look stupid. Your own words are sufficient to make you look stupid. You don't have to put them in caps lock. Okay.
Kobe, we can disagree with that and be respectful. Okay, so stop using the caps here.
Yeah, true.
All cap in all caps.
Stop, be respectful.
Stop capping in the caps, bro.
I'm a big Scotty fan, but sometimes I have to call it spade a spade.
The truth is,
man. Look, you can say he had a bad game without living and dying by the moment.
It did not have a bad game. It did not just take the lead when it matters. Exactly. Because if you look at his numbers, 8 assists, 17 points. His field goal was over 50-something%. I think it was 8 of 13 or 9 of 15.
Okay.
He didn't have a bad game.
Question for you. Okay. Yeah. So you agree to meet with somebody for 200 meetings, right? Let's say you set up 200 meetings. 199 of them, they're 10 minutes early. Okay? The 200th literal meeting, they're 7 minutes late. Would you define that person as tardy? I have never seen Scotty Barnes disappear in the fourth quarter in my life. Ever. This is literally the first one. So we're not going to live and die by the immediacy of the moment.
Agree.
Okay,
I agree, right? But you want to be the franchise player, he shouldn't be taking 13 shots. Scotty should be taking 20-something shots every single game. So it's not even about the fourth quarter. It's not even about the fourth quarter right now. He has to be taking shots. Like even his coach, the interview that you pinned on your Twitter account. He said it as Scotty. The next development part of Scotty is to read the game and see that these guys are not scoring. Let me take over. Let me go. Let
Let
me
me take
score.
over.
He
Facts.
said it, and I was so happy that he said it because I know that he's going to work with Scotty during the offseason on that.
Yeah.
And that's what Kevin Durant does all the time. There was one game this season. He told Devin Booker that forget about me, go get yours. That when it's my time, I'll go get mine.
Yeah.
That's the next step of his development I want to see. And his coach said it. The interview you did with this coach is like the best interview. He said everything that I'm trying to say right now.
I
I'm glad.
listened
I'm
to
glad.
it 3 times. That's how
Facts.
much
I
of a
love
fan
it.
I am with Scotty. I was so pissed off today because he can do better. And
I was at work on a training in California when I called for like, go listen to this interview. That this is the best interview with Scotty's trainer. I sent it to him on WhatsApp and another channel. Like, listen to this interview. That this is. He said everything that we've been saying.
Shout outs to my man D-Mac. He's great. You can expect hopefully one interview every single January for the rest of Scotty's career. Let us pray that
please pass this message on to the coach. I know you have channels. Pass it, please. We want Scotty to be great. We want him to because he has it.
We all want him to be great, but greatness is not going to come overnight. Okay, now listen to me. Okay, we can't keep moving the goalposts. Okay, when they said that when Scotty has to deal with doubles, he's gonna basically never score again. He's gonna drop off. Since Pascal's been gone, he's averaging like 21 points per game, right? Can we acknowledge that?
I agree, but
okay.
Let him make I want to make the mistakes.
And his percentages haven't tanked at all. He's shooting like 49% from field too. So that's one thing. The team is not winning, but the team is fucking trash. Okay, let's be real. So beyond that, I mean, you've replaced Pascal Siakam with fucking Bruce Brown, bro. Bruce Brown had 0 points today. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, we were missing Jakob Poeltl for like 3 weeks. We're missing RJ Barrett. Like, I feel like people don't really understand like how much better Scotty will get. I mean, Brian acknowledged it. This is 15%. 15%. 15% means, yes, 1 out of every 35 games, he's going to have a bad fourth quarter where he's going to be passive. I've seen entire games like this last year where he was like a totally not interested person on defense. And yeah, maybe we went a little too far at that point saying it's Fred's fault, it's Pascal's fault for freezing him out of the offense. But yo, tonight, the ball is not finding him. And you might say, hey, if you're a franchise player, you fucking stop the offense, you get in the middle and you say, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, like Julius Randle style, right? But if you're injured and you're tired, and after 40 minutes, maybe you're like, shit, RJ's cooking. IQ's cooking. Let me get it to them. Scotty is never going to be the guy. You know, like LeBron took a lot of criticism for this early in his career. Why are you passing to this guy? Why are you passing to Real? Why are you passing to Chris Bosh? Why are you passing to D-Wade? You're not the man, right? Now, obviously, LeBron was a hell of a lot better than Scotty. But this criticism was always there for LeBron of like, why did you pass that ball to J.R. Smith? Aren't you supposed to? How are you better than Michael Jordan? LeBron is always going to pass the ball. Last year, I think he passed the ball to Dennis Schroeder for a fucking corner three, like to win a series. So, or was it? It was late leverage. And you're like, Jordan would never pass that, but LeBron would, and that's LeBron's greatness. He would. Scotty will. Scotty will always pass the ball to the open guy. He's always gonna. And if he's not gonna force shit, right? He needs to get better at forcing stuff. I agree. He needs to get better at taking tough shots. I agree. Okay. He cannot do what he did in the fourth quarter and overtime. I completely agree. But I'm not about to sit here and lose sleep over a 1 in 50 occurrence when I have seen, honestly, I'll tell you this, when he was drafted till now, I would never in my life expected he would have been such a great fourth quarter player this early in his career. All of this is a hallmark for a lot of success later on when he has better teams, when he's further along in his skill work, when his handle gets tighter. He's going to be a dominant fourth quarter player for the rest of his life. I promise you that. One game
it's
sucks.
not just the fourth quarter that I'm concerned about, because this is just one game. I'm concerned about him taking over games from the beginning. But because all he does is he loves to pass, which is good. But who you passing the ball to matters a lot.
Thank you.
You're passing the ball to Gary Trent that didn't shoot anything all day. that's been shooting blanks.
That's not fair. That's not fair. I mean,
Gary
Gary's
Trent
a freaking really talented offensive player. He was 4 for 8 from 3,
it was
bro.
6 of 15. 6 of 15. Let's not forget the 4 of 8 from 3 were open looks where they gave him the ball and he just jumped.
Can we please remember that Gary Trent, as a starter, is a 50% 3-point shooter? That might be one of the 5 best 3-point shooters in the NBA as a starter.
But what's he giving on the
What
defensive end?
What's he giving on defense?
Can I please point something out? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tonight took fewer shots than Lou Dort. Do you understand?
Because they were blitzing him. They were blitzing him all game.
Okay. The Raptors don't have a single defender who's anywhere close to Lou Dort. Lou Dort guarded Scotty Barnes a lot tonight.
But Scotty, the problem was not it's not even because he wasn't trying to touch the ball. He was roaming around in the corners.
Exactly.
It's not even about guiding. It wasn't touching the ball.
Anytime he touches the ball,
something good happens.
The defenders to him. So if he knows that he's going to have the defenders drawn to him, why don't you touch the ball all the time? Because anytime he touches the ball, something happens. But at the fourth quarter, he disappeared.
And it's very unlike Scotty because Scotty likes to take over in the fourth quarter. Give me the ball. But it's like on the corners every time when they give him the ball, just jack up the tree.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. Anyways, I don't want to keep rehashing the same thing over and over again. It feels like I'm saying one thing, you're saying another thing. I'm saying be patient. I'm saying it's not a trend.
I am patient.
I
agree.
One game. It's one game. And look, last year, if I told you this was going to be his year next year, you would have said I was crazy. Even you guys who are big Scotty fans, you would have said fucking crazy. But he would be the biggest all-star.
I knew Scott.
You knew he was going to come out and be he was going to shoot 39% from 3 for like the first 40 games. Come on.
Grady Dick is going to be great. So
look, man, it's a growing thing, right?
I'm not worried because
nothing to be worried about.
I think we have the good base for the future, right? Scotty, Grady.
We saw a great piece of that tonight.
IQ and average. We saw a great piece, and we have to make a decision with Jack Porto because it looked good today. Let me not use great. Then hopefully they get like 2 good draft picks, and we have cap space, and we'll see where it goes from here. But I'm not worried at all. But I want us to rebuild well. There's a good way to rebuild and there's a bad way to rebuild.
This is the greatest way to rebuild.
This is the greatest way to rebuild.
Beat the shit out of the OKC Thunder and then still get the loss. Perfect.
But the sad part is blowing out a 20-point lead, right? That's the bad way to rebuild.
It was completely self-inflicted, man. Trust me. If there was nothing that the Thunder did to the Raptors that the Raptors could not have stopped. It was a lot of self-inflicted shit. It was a lot of stupid shots. It was a lot of going away from things. It was a lot of going towards Dennis. I don't even think they played the right rotations down the stretch.
The rotation too. I just want February 8th to pass so that we know who we have, right? Because some folks need to go, like maybe Boucher or the veteran.
If the coach is still playing Gary Trent after February 8th, I'm done.
No, Gary. Not Gary. This guy. What's the name of Dennis Schroeder? Playing Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder.
I'm ready to move them all. Anyways. Thanks a lot for calling in, guys. Really appreciate it, as always. Cheers, man. Yeah, bye. Okay, Lane, and let's bring on 4 at a time. Oh, all good callers. Moobs, Lane, Lil John, and Coach Mo, all at the same time. Sweet. What's going on, guys?
Yo.
Okay, to keep this somewhat organized, we will go from Lane. Lane, what's going on?
This is something I said on here before. After they got rid of Pascal and OG, and after Fred walked in the summer, a lot of these Raptors fans and even so-called Scotty fans at the time would need to find a new scapegoat sooner than later. They found their new scapegoat.
Who's their scapegoat?
Scotty. Have you not seen how he's being talked about tonight? It's ridiculous how they're talking about a 22-year-old. Did he have a terrible game? Yeah. You can't cry like a little baby when things don't go your way. He needs to get that out of his system. I've coached kids like him, exactly freaking like him, that when one thing doesn't go their way, it's pow, pow, shoulder drops. There's one way to fix it, and it's an ass kicking from the coaching staff. He needs to get his ass kicked. That's it. Other than that, though.
What do you think? What do you think he? Whoa. Who do you think he was pouting to? And
it was RJ Barrett. When RJ Barrett didn't pass up the ball with 5 seconds left in the game because he wanted to try to get fouled to take the free throws to ice the game. Scotty's wide open down the court. That's 100% what he was pouting about.
So you think he basically protested in overtime by not taking a shot?
I think he was mentally checked out. I wouldn't call it a protest by not taking a shot. I just think he was mentally checked out. But I don't like how we've made him the new scapegoat because you know me, I was a big Siakam fan when he was here, and I saw them do it.
This is a very interesting angle from you, Lane, because you basically you said I'm tired of people making him a scapegoat, and then you basically made him a scapegoat. I love it. Okay, let's move on. It's funny. Okay, Moobs, what's up, man?
What's good, bro? I think people need to calm down and realize this is a 22-year-old, and we're acting like he's choking in the fourth quarter or overtime every single time. It's literally one time. We've seen it multiple times this season where he's taken over games in the fourth quarter, and it's not like this is a playoff game. People acting like this is a playoff game or something. Like, we are a terrible team that is tanking. Relax. It's a 22-year-old. Everyone goes through growing pains. Jordan went through growing pains. LeBron, Curry, everyone. It's a 22-year-old at the end of the day. Relax.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, the criticism has always been, where is he until the fourth quarter? He only dials it up in the fourth quarter, as if that's not fucking the hardest thing in the world to do. Exactly. And then now, you know, he doesn't play so well in overtime, and it's like, where was he in the fourth quarter? Where is this guy? He's such a choker. Oh my God. Scotty Barnes detractors are pretty much like, I don't know. There's like a cohort for like the dumbest people on earth. They are it. Like, it is the weirdest shit in the world to like just watch it, because it's like their argument changes every day. It's like, okay, if you trade Siakam, he's gonna score. He's not gonna be able to score. His efficiency's gonna dip. His passing's gonna dip. Okay, his passing doesn't dip. Okay, but you traded Siakam and you're losing. It's like, yes, trading Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby and playing Bruce Brown and not having Jakob Poeltl on the court is going to result in more losing. You see Grady Dick and Jordan Nwora and Jalen McDaniels playing minutes? Jeez. So it's like the goalpost will always move. And basically there's one type of game, literally one type of game, where people will not complain about, which is if Scotty Barnes scores 30 and nobody else on the Raptors scores more than 20. That's literally the only type of game, win, lose, or draw, where people are not going to complain. If he's not the leading scorer, they're going to complain. Literally, anybody scores more. I swear to God, I saw very legitimately, like, not mentally completely. Let me not get canceled here. People saying that Jordan Nwora was more talented than Scotty Barnes.
That's actually insane,
right? But it's like one game. But like these people, like,
bigger bag.
Sure,
that's what it was.
Yeah. So it's just weird. Anyways, Coach Mo, what up?
Yeah, the hyperbole, the game by game overreaction. Scotty's a choker. I'm like, really? I thought he was fourth quarter B, but now he's a choker. But the only thing I couldn't defend was him casually throwing a left-handed pass to Gary Trent with 4 seconds left to end regulation. That was the only everything else I could stomach. That one I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like
that one was like, yeah, you're protesting, bro. Like you're to me, I was like, yeah, you were a bitch for that. Everything else I was okay with, honestly, because it's kind of him. That in the fourth quarter to Gary, that's the only one I couldn't stomach. Like that one, I was actually pretty upset with that.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't like about the game.
Okay, can I please ask whoever the hell is doing this background noise? Please stop. Like whoever's got this like weird like whipping, throwing, whatever. Just put yourself on mute if you're not talking. Yeah.
What I didn't like is Grady Dick playing 10 minutes. That I did not like. And
me too.
He was +4. His family came. I was like, Darko, why are you doing him like this?
And he played well. And he's playing well. He played really well.
2 for 2. Why is Noir not playing? I understand everybody else. Jalen McDaniels doesn't need to play because people are back. Boucher, for whatever reason, there's something going on with him. But why can't Noir play? I don't understand. Why is Dennis Schroeder playing 36 minutes? Why does this guy find his way on the court over and over again? -23. That dude has to hold the ball. He has to hold the... Watching that guy play... I've never hated a basketball player more in my entire life.
Than who?
Than Dennis Schroeder, the basketball player. I hate that guy. The person, I don't know him. I can't speak on that. The basketball player, Dennis Schroeder, I despise him. I can't wait till he's gone.
Yeah.
And also the fact that the coach is in love with him, so that doesn't help either.
Yeah,
and like I
agree.
said, he's never going to miss a game. He will never miss a game. He will be ready to get his 30 plus every night.
Yeah. Okay. I think Lil John, you muted yourself. If you want to unmute yourself, we can hear from you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I kind of like the first guy's point about him protesting. He definitely was mad at something.
I agree. He left the court without shaking anyone's hand. He did that. I think the last time he did that was the Philly game 6 when they lost.
He was mad at something. This wasn't him being, not having it inside of him to take shots. This was something that occurred that, we don't know, but it was something. I don't know if it was RJ. I don't know if it was Darko, choosing to quickly initiate. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand either, because it feels like, okay, look, there's one thing I don't ever dispute. Scotty Barnes wants to win always. Okay. Doesn't matter if you're tanking, doesn't matter if you have 12 wins on the season. This guy wants to win always. He cares about winning a lot. Nobody who busts his ass defensively as hard as this guy doesn't care about winning. So, yeah, I've seen him get a little upset in the last 2 years. When the ball doesn't find him, he's pretty upset. When his teammates don't move the ball, he gets pretty upset. You can see him on the bench. He just checks out mentally. He does not he's pretty emotional. He's a pretty emotional guy. You can tell. So I think clearly something did happen, because when he was on the bench, in the second quarter, he was so dialed in on the bench that he was literally up barking. Okay, whoever's doing this background shit, please have some respect, man. I understand, if you're not talking, just put yourself on mute, man. It's really difficult for 417 people to be listening to your background noise. Okay, so point being, if you are going to, sorry, I've lost my train of thought, man. Fuck. All right.
There was way too much IQ in the fourth quarter. It was there were no plays being run. No one was moving. It was just IQ. B. Allen Iverson. It was weird. I felt like the coach could have stepped in and ran a play. Nothing was happening. It was IQ. Here's the ball. We're not even going to set you a screen. Just attack. It's weird.
Yeah. Lil John, do you have something going on in your background? Do you have people moving around?
Yeah, I'm amongst some people right now.
Okay. So however your microphone is set up, basically if someone is moving behind you, it is very loud. Okay.
Do you hear anyone right now? I put my mic on.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything right now, but if it happens again, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Yeah, because it's just been happening a lot. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's a trend to be worried about. Isolated things happen. It could have been an injury, could have been upset about something. He has a right to be upset. There are fucking a lot of mistakes that happened down the stretch. There was a ton of 2-man action where it feels like the rest of the team was not involved, and some guys just got way too ball dominant down the stretch. And you know what? What do you do if the coach is not going to call it? What do you do? Right? Maybe you have to develop a better coping strategy to deal with that on the bench. You have to be able to go up to an Emmanuel Quickly and RJ Barrett or Dennis Schroeder and be like, yo, we're not doing this right now. Give me the ball on the next play. And maybe from Darko's perspective, he's not going to step in. He's going to force Scotty to have that conversation, because he's got to have that conversation. Everyone's had that conversation. Every star player has had to have that conversation at some point with the role players around them, right? And this might be the most uncomfortable thing for Scotty to do. That might be the most uncomfortable thing for him, but it's a necessary step. And you can't do that coach thing where you want to baby him so much that you'd be like, no, I'm going to have that conversation for him. No, if he wants to sit in the corner for 2 fucking overtimes in a row, you're going to have to let him fucking go through it and watch his team lose. And he's going to have to look at this, and they're going to break down the game film tomorrow if they have a film session before they face the Pelicans. And he's going to see that there were probably a ton of times where he was open, or he could have demanded the ball, or he had a favorable matchup in the post and he could have gone up with it and he didn't. And he's going to have to answer to his teammates, and his teammates are going to have to answer to him. Hopefully they can grow from this. Hopefully through friction, because look, man, Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Dennis Schroeder, all these guys get very ball happy sometimes.
Oh, he was ball happy. IQ was in love with the basketball.
Yeah, especially down in overtime.
And here's the thing, like, you're not the best player on your team. Emmanuel Quickly or RJ Barrett or Dennis Schroeder. None of you
especially Dennis Schroeder.
Especially Dennis Schroeder, but even those other two guys, they're not. Right. Once in a while, you got to feed it to your guy. You know, you got to feed it to your key guy. And, you know, to the key guy, it's not all on them. It's also on you. You got to demand it. So it's got to go both ways. And I'm sure that some, you know, like some tensions are going to be played out in the locker room. Again, like people who say like, quit making excuses for Scottie. It's not about excuses, man. It's about understanding that there's a real like evolution that has to happen for a player to go from the type of player he is to the type of player you want him to be. And it's not easy. It rarely ever happens in the span of a couple of years. You know, Kawhi had to learn as well. Over years of time, he had to learn how to get to his spots, how to demand the basketball, how to be the man, because that's not really who he's been, you know, and that's not really who Scottie's been. Scottie's
growing pains for a 22-year-old.
It is growing pains, man. And I know like we always bring up the 22, but it is important too. You know, it's important to understand as a 22-year-old, how do you approach 31-year-old Dennis Schroeder and say, yo, cut that shit out. How do you approach it? You clearly can. You can. No one's going to be too upset with you. But do we remember what happened last year when Scottie like told, you know, Thaddeus Young to back off? Everyone's like, huh? What? How dare he? Do you remember what happened when Scottie Barnes went up to Dennis Schroeder and took the ball away from him at the line and told him, no, I'm going to take the fucking technical free throw? People are like, what? How dare he? How dare he? Dennis is a better free throw shooter than him. Scottie Barnes is arrogant. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Look, at the end of the day, people are going to hate him. They're going to hate him no matter what, right? Yeah. If he scores 40 points and they lose, it's going to be like, well, they lost. If he scores 25 points and they win, it's going to be like, well, why would he score 40? Yeah. So it's just, it's never ending. But you know what? To every great player out there, this is what they got to get used to. All of them had to get used to it, right? Michael Jordan, used to score 32 points, 33 points, 35 points, scoring titles, can't win championships. Won a championship, couldn't do it without Pippen and Rodman and Phil Jackson. It's endless. It's literally endless, okay? It's the same thing with LeBron. LeBron won championships, had too much help, had to join the Heatles. KD won championships, had to join Steph. Steph won a championship, couldn't defend, needed Draymond, needed the Warriors offense, blah, blah, blah. There's always choked late. How many times do we remember a debate about Steph Curry? Is he really the guy? Is he not really the guy because he chokes late, blah, blah, blah. There's so much, man. So it is never ending. And you know what? Any player who wants to be great, get used to it. Yeah. Anyways, Lane, closing thoughts for all of you.
Yeah. I guess my takeaway is let's not make him the scapegoat. Let's not do the Scottie, what this fan base largely did to Fred, Pascal, even DeMar at times, you know. Let's not do that to Scottie, right? Let's end that toxic trait here. He's our guy. Win or lose, he's our guy. The only thing I'm not so sure about coming away from this game, the only thing I will overreact to is Darko. I have been neutral on Darko. Tonight, I don't know how I feel about him. I really don't. I mean, at this point, it feels like Dennis Schroeder is just the cheaper Walmart Fred, and Darko is just Dollar General Nick Nurse. For lack of a better term, it's like we have what we had last year, but the pay less version, and his rotations are terrible. His timeout calls are terrible. He calls the timeout too late, calls the timeout too early, uses them up too fast, uses them up too slow. I mean, it's like the dude doesn't know how to manage a basketball game, and I get it. I get he's getting his great looks. He's completely changed the culture of passing, and our assist numbers are astronomical. But at the same time, not everybody is the same player. You have to play to the strengths of your players at times. And like you saw when Siakam started the season off slow, it took him a while to work himself back into it. I still don't feel like Jakob's found a rhythm in Darko's offense. I don't feel like Gary Trent Jr.'s found a rhythm in Darko's offense. And really, I feel like it's been a deterrent to Scotty Barnes because he has a bunch of guys that don't know their role around him, and he's expected to put it all together at 22 years old. So, yeah, I mean, I respect what he's done. It's nothing against him as a man, but I just don't think he's the right coach for this team, honestly.
Completely disagree.
Okay.
Darko's a good coach. You know, if RJ advances the ball instead of trying to get the free throws and the Raptors win, the conversation is completely different.
If he doesn't dribble, we win. If he doesn't dribble, we win the game.
I mean, he's really selfish, but at least he's aggressive, so that will hide. You know, Scotty being the complete opposite of him will kind of hide the blame from RJ with some of the stuff he does. But if the Raptors win this game, Darko's getting praised right now. So this just shows you how like fickle this stuff is, because
Fickle is the word. Yeah, I think
Darko was great tonight.
He doesn't get credit for like the defensive scheme against Shea. Without a solid point of attack defender, you had Gary Trent Jr. as a primary defender on Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for most of the night or much of the night, and you did a great job.
This was one of SGA's worst games of the year. Like, you know how hard that is to do.
Yeah. I remember like that game against Asar was like hell for him. It's not quite that, but it was bad. Like it was really bad. And they did a great job, and they made him look so average. And he's so good. His shot making is so good.
I thought the Raptors got really unlucky with some offensive rebounds, like going like a little too far from someone's hands.
Yeah, fair enough. I also think they got pretty lucky with some of those like open threes not going in, so it balances out.
The point about like Gary, listen, Gary is closer to a third stringer than he is to a starter. Gary's not good, so I don't think you can make a bad player good. Gary's not good. Gary's bad.
On this team, he's good.
I don't know about bad, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about bad. He'd probably start for 3 or 4 teams.
I don't think Gary plays on a good team. Any team that contends.
You don't think he plays on a good team at all? Not even off the bench.
I think he would play on good teams. I don't think he would start on good teams.
I don't think he would start either, but he'll definitely be like a 7th man.
Gary is what every single contending team needs right now. A guy who can shoot threes and can be a spark.
Is he better than Isaiah Joe? Is he better than Isaiah Joe?
I kind of love.
Yeah, thanks for saying Isaiah Joe.
Is he better than Isaiah Joe?
Yes.
Hell no. Hell
no. He's not better than Isaiah Joe.
Is he better than Casey Wallace?
He rebounds and plays.
He's not better. Not Casey Wallace.
No, hell no, not Casey Wallace.
If he's not better than Isaiah Joe and Casey Wallace, he's not getting on the court for the Thunder.
He's better than Isaiah Joe.
He's better than Ousmane Dieng, I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
But you're right. But the Thunder are a pretty exceptional team because they are very deep. Does he? And would he? It's worth saying. Would he play for the Pelicans? Probably not. That's a really good point. He might not play for the Pelicans. They have Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum. I mean, shit. Like there are some teams
for the Bucks. He played for the
Jose
Lakers.
Alvarado
he would play for the Bucks. He would probably play for the. He would play for the Celtics. He would play for the Sixers. He would play for the Cavs. He would play on a lot of teams. I'm just being clear, but he wouldn't start on them. And that is exactly it. Because right now, if I'm a rival general manager and I'm trying to gauge his value as a player, potentially on the free agent market, I'm looking at a guy who pretty much tanks anytime he doesn't start, and I'm looking at a guy that I cannot start. So it's a tough place to be for Gary Trent. Anyways, Little John, any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, I guess my final thought is Darko is getting, he's really getting a bad rap right now for some really bad losses, and a few like that Bulls game they win if Pirtles plays. There's been a couple wins that have been left on the table, and Darko would be getting statues built of him right now if the Raptors kind of came through in the end. He's a really good coach. I actually had it. I was telling someone like people are going to eat their words about midway through the third quarter. I was telling someone Darko is going to make people eat their words in a couple of years. And funny enough,
I think so too.
Funny enough, at the end of the game, now he's getting clowned. So That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be fine. He's like anybody else, first year head coaches. Jason Kidd is a first year head coach. I remember Rick Carlisle is a first year head coach. He has certainly done a great job on a lot of fronts. And then there are other fronts where he's not doing a great job. If you thought you were hiring, 18th year Phil Jackson, sorry to disappoint. He's not that guy. Okay. And he's not Larry Brown in his 30th year either. You know what I mean? He is, however, a really good first year head coach. Okay. In my opinion, he's been fantastic. He's had some very glaring issues as well, but I suspect, here's the thing. I am a very process-based person, which means that I trust that as situations change, rosters change, process remains, right? How you deal with situations is pretty much fundamentally who you are. That's who you are as a person. So do you treat people with respect? Do you accept your mistakes? Are you a curious learner? These things all matter. Are you someone who pushes yourself? Are you a hard worker? It's like people don't change. The fundamental core element of who people are doesn't really change. It carries from job to job. If you're a person who doesn't deal well with people, this is not going to change because you put better people around you. You'll find a way to fuck those up too. That's kind of just how it goes. So I trust this guy to be able to reach and teach. I think that's a good thing about himself, but also the reaching and teaching goes to himself as well. He's a good teacher, but he's also a good learner. And I appreciate that about him. And I have a feeling that he's going to be a hell of a lot better next year. And he's going to get through some growing pains this year. But you know what? I think it's a good thing. And I think he'll be fine. Anyways, any final thoughts from any of you? Or we're going to go on to the next batch of callers.
I think at the end of the day, we're a terrible team. And a 22-year-old who is an amazing player had one bad fourth quarter or overtime. I think we just need to calm down at the end of the day. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think to anyone out there who kind of is sick and tired of this fan base sometimes, I'll say this. The loudest, dumbest people are often determining our basketball takes, because whether we are responding to it or countering it, we're still technically giving it credence, right? If someone comes out and says, Scotty Barnes is a bench player, well, then everyone's content is going to be why Scotty Barnes is not a bench player. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like the absurdist, like the stupidest person gets to determine what everyone's going to talk about that day. And that's not good. So my suggestion is, if someone's really dumb, just don't retweet them. Don't quote tweet them. Don't respond to them. Just move on. It doesn't matter. These people are idiots. Okay? They really are. They're really dumb. They don't understand basketball. And there's really no point in responding to them or paying too much attention to them because they don't understand basketball. That's it. They don't get it. It's cool. They think Darko can't coach. They probably couldn't diagram a single basketball play to save their life, but apparently he can't either. So who's to say, right? I've never seen the indignation of people on Twitter to do with zero research, zero insight, and to just have such bold basketball takes is honestly a miracle. I wonder if some alien life force is studying us from thousands and millions of light years away and just saying, man, Raptor fans are pretty fucking dumb. Anyways, thank you guys for this lovely call. It was good. Thanks a lot for calling in, guys. Cheers.
Have a good night.
Yeah. All right. On to the next three. We got, oh man, please don't be trolls. I don't recognize two of these names. Keegan, what's up?
How you doing, Rob?
I'm good. Okay.
This is my first time calling you.
Cool. Okay, not a troll. Repio, not a troll? Sweet. Thank God. Okay, and Jonathan hugging his dog is definitely not a troll. How y'all doing?
Doing good.
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go first. I thought that Scotty had a pretty good game other than the end. I think that it's really overblown, the whole I thought he showed a lot of energy. I finally saw him be an effective player for the first 3 quarters, and then the opposite of what you would expect. He kind of doesn't. He drops the ball in the fourth.
Sure.
And I didn't understand why Grady got 10 minutes. Only 10.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I guess you guys came in late. That's all stuff we've discussed already.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I get it. Yeah, Grady should have played more. Dennis probably should have played less. Yeah.
Oh,
Ripio, what's going on, man?
what up, man? First time caller. I've been so I'm a Knicks fan. Plot twist.
Sweet.
I've been watching the show since the trade because IQ and RJ. And
Absolutely.
from like my month of being a Raptors fan, I've noticed a lot of stuff on Raptors Twitter. I've been falling asleep to your content, and I agree with your entire outlook on a rebuild in the team. I feel like from the outside looking in, I'm seeing a lot of overreactions to some of the shortcomings of the teams. Like Scotty Barnes, like from my point of view, I look at him like, dude, that rebound he got, that pass. I see like the stuff he does that 90% of players in the league can't do, but because there's this attachment from fans, like everything he does is under a microscope, and there's not a realization that it's not a good team. Like you have to remove the attachment and understand where things stand. This is a rebuild.
Facts.
Like 80% of the roster is not going to be here going forward. And there needs to be understanding of pecking order as well. Like Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, love those guys. They're not number one options. Emmanuel Quickly, there is somebody who's watched every single game of their career, did not miss a single Knicks game. I can tell you straightforward, their strengths and weaknesses. IQ had higher value coming in for the simple fact of where he benefits as a shot creator, shot maker. RJ isn't strong in that department, so it kind of made like the last 2 years he's a better perimeter defender. But we had like Mitchell Robinson in the paint, so his defensive stats look a little inflated. But he's not good at finishing through contact. If you put a big wing on him or somebody who beats him to the step, he's not like shifty enough to, you know what I mean? He's more like a complimentary guard. RJ Barrett, limited. He can't score from beyond the three consistently, but he's aggressive. But that is valuable in the third option. I see Scotty Barnes. I see he sees them on cuts. I see he's getting Gary Trent Jr. Bro, you guys have like future cap. Like how many people are extended on this team? Scotty's not extended. Besides RJ, maybe who else is long term?
RJ's extended. Quickly is extension eligible. Probably going to take closer to that 24, 25 million mark than the 18 million mark that the Knicks were willing to offer. And apart from that, you got Jakob Poeltl on a sad 4-year, almost $80 million deal. I mean, y'all got a way better player in Isaiah Hartenstein on like $7 million. So
yeah.
The rich, right? The rich.
But
where in New York you from, man?
I'm from the Bronx. I'm upstate right now.
Sweet. I grew up in Washington Heights.
A lot of Raptors content creators are like from New York. That's weird how that works.
I mean, technically, the two that are me and Chev, right?
Yeah.
I'm New York.
I'm locked
New
in,
York.
man.
Yeah,
I'm locked in. I'm on your tweets. I have your live tweet notifications. I see it all, man. What do you call it?
Man.
I mentioned the cap space situation for the simple fact in 2 to 3 years, all these role players are gone. In 2 to 3 years, Scotty is like 20% better. Like what's it? Chris Boucher is gonna be
gone. He's gonna be gone.
Like if you replace
Boucher is gonna be gone.
Average players.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like most people would say for your 5 starters, the average team is going to spend about 80% of their cap on their 5 starters, right? If the Raptors extend, say like they get some value in the draft, right? Let's say they draft their starting center this year. They got 3 picks. Maybe they trade up, they get them, right? Between Scotty, IQ, RJ, Grady, potentially, and this hypothetical center, you got your entire starting 5 locked up for like less than half the cap. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's like a lot of wiggle room. So you can get real deep, real fast. Granted, Toronto not the biggest, free agent market, but you don't have to be a big free agent market. You can take contracts back. You can do a lot of smart stuff. And a lot of teams haven't prepared for the second apron, first apron shit. A lot of teams have like bad contracts. The Raptors don't have any bad contracts. I think Jakob is the closest thing to a bad contract, but everything else is expiring in shorts. And yeah, I mean, the addition of all these picks in the hands of a team that really drafts well, probably a really good thing. Honestly, I agree with your take that Scotty needs to be more of the guy in a sense, but he's going to have to grow into that too. He didn't come in like Melo out of Syracuse, right? Where it was like every offense he's ever been a part of has been built around him. He got all the reps, getting all those midi pull-ups. I don't know how long you've been following basketball, but I actually watched Melo in high school live. So like watching him with Oak Hill, seeing him, back then taking all those reps, being the man, that shit carries. Like he was the man at Syracuse, he was the man at Oak Hill, he was the man in Denver. And yeah, like Masai Ujiri, I remember in Scotty's rookie year, he was asked, he's like, have you ever had a rookie this talented? He said, he started thinking about it. He's like, Carmelo 2003. That was the last time. So that was like straight up 17 years that he hadn't had a rookie this talented. But the difference between Melo and Scotty is Scotty's a better defender. Scotty's a better rebounder, even though Melo is a beast rebounder, better passer. He just doesn't have the scoring package yet. Right, he doesn't have the handle, the shift, the counters, the little post step back, whatever. But man, he's got physical advantages that Melo couldn't even dream of.
That's the fun part, though. That's the fun part. Like you watch, dude. You're talking to somebody who watched Julius Randle turn into All-NBA. When I tell you, we were watching Reggie Bullock, Nerlens Noel, dude. This stuff takes time. Kemba Walker, starting point guard. This stuff takes time. It's not going to be all perfect. Like, bro, a decade of watching losing basketball, bro. I can. You guys just started to rebuild, and I can seize the vision. There are teams who they're on path, and there's no path that you can see of them being good. Scotty Barnes, I look at him play, and I watch an All-NBA player like Julius Randle. I'm like, yo, bro, dude, his contested rebound percentage is better. His defense is better. Like that pass that he made to RJ or Randle wouldn't have made that. That handoff, the effort, the running down the court, dude. That's like 80% of it, dude. He's 22 years old. We need to get back into this thing of basketball, right? Where improvement year by year in young players is like normalized. Like people are expecting these Ja Morant type jumps early on. Dude, what happened to the days where a good rookie would start off 15, 18, 21, 22, 24, and then grow into their prime, like learn game by game by game, summer by summer by summer. Dude, Scotty Barnes has the prototypical build of a modern NBA wing. Like, dude, drafting him, when you guys drafted him, I was like, I don't know, it's a little high. Because I'm seeing like role player, like because when they drafted him, I remember quote unquote they used the words quintessential role player.
Yep.
Teammate, whatever the word is. And I was like, I don't know if that's what you needed from Toronto with this top pick. And I'm seeing, dude, his shot, dude, he went from like not being able to shoot. He's in the lab. His like physical development, his ability to absorb contact.
Did you catch my interview with his trainer?
Yeah, I've seen it beginning to end.
Yeah. So I mean, look, like I've been a Scotty fan since Knight Riders, probably. So I'm a huge fan of his. I think he's great. I didn't buy any of the role player stuff. I think, even if you think that it's going to take a lot longer, he will get there. Hard work over time multiplied with physical advantages and big strides usually does result in a star predator wing. I'm curious if that star predator wing is going to come up next year or the year after, but there's no doubt in my mind that at some point we're going to look up and see Scotty averaging 27, 28, 30 points a game. And at that point, it'll be, yeah, but he hasn't won a championship. You get it, right? Like, I mean, Julius Randle turned himself from potential lottery bust to All-NBA. They still fucking hate the guy.
Even had a down year in between them All-NBA years.
Right. And I mean, Pascal went through it too here. The crown is heavy for sure. Jonathan, what's going on? You've been waiting. Hey. Sorry about that. How you doing?
No, I'm really enjoying the conversation. It was nice that I got in with two new callers. Really love hearing from different fan bases. So and take care of our OG, please. He is absolutely precious to us. See what I did there?
He's absolutely precious. That's funny. Yeah. Can you get a little bit closer to the mic? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. I just wanted to say, short and sweet, trust the process, people.
We got Sam Hinkie on the line. We got Sam Hinkie. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
I didn't want to use that, but it there's so much value in that statement. And
sure.
Just to go back on one of your points as far as people on Twitter and spaces and so on and so forth, arguing with people that are I'm not going to call them stupid, but we'll go with that.
Sure.
They're going to beat you with their expertise, right? Because you're never going to be able to win an argument with an idiot. It's really tough to do, and
Sure.
you're never somebody who's dumb is not going to ever be able to understand the finer points of things. So everybody just I'm a broken record on this, but like look up the cocoon, the butterfly from the cocoon analogy, and it is not just Scotty I'm talking about. It is this organization, and shame on anybody that says anything bad about Darko. Like,
Yeah, here's the
love
thing.
him.
Like, yeah, I
I
think
love
Darko's
him.
been great. He's had a lot to override. You know, it's like, habits are hard to break, man. It's like taking a
well,
whole
it's
bunch
like
of
picking
change.
on a 22-year-old Scotty Barnes, right? Like, there's so much newness here, and people are just like, I want all of the experience, I want all of the winning, and I want it
Mhm.
right now. This like, it's almost like the mentality of a lot of people I come across, whether it's sports, whether it's anything else in life, is like they're going to McDonald's and they want their fucking they want their effing Big Mac in 30 seconds, or they're gonna flip out.
Yeah,
And it's like, if you want a terrible burger, go to McDonald's. If you want a terrible basketball team, keep screaming about this crap.
yeah,
Anyways, I love you guys.
yeah.
I wish you all the best with the Pendants Film Festival. And
Are you in
everybody-
Toronto?
I'm an hour outside of Toronto, but I'm a Toronto boy.
If you end up free that weekend, hit me up and I'll get you some tickets.
For real?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, man.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get a little bit
It's up your
emotional.
alley. I promise you. If you vibe with this channel, Pendants is totally up your alley. Yeah.
Oh, I've checked out a bunch of your stuff on the other IG that you have, so it's it's definitely up my alley. I'm going through a layoff and going back to school, and dealing with like a lot. Like, I'm driving for Uber Eats right now, so it's that means a great deal. So
My pleasure.
I appreciate
My pleasure. It's the least I can do to thank you for super chats, man. Like, my God,
Oh,
like
God.
everyone who's like given me tons of super chats and tons of support and views. I'm sure like the least I could do is get you a couple tickets, or even like 4 tickets. I don't know. Come out for a day. I'll get you 8 tickets. Whatever. Just shoot me a message. All right. See you,
right.
Jonathan.
Cut.
Yeah.
No, man, you deserve the support. Dude, the channel is, listen, man, like, it keeps me sane. Because if you go on Twitter, dude, you're gonna, like, I'm just looking at comments. I don't even respond. I block
I've been on
people.
Twitter. I've been on Twitter.
I block
And I mean,
people.
like, yo, there was this one dude. I mean, I swear, I went on Twitter Spaces on Zazu's thing like last time, and this
I'm in all
one,
your spaces, by the way.
you've been on
Listen,
that, okay? So you
yeah.
remember the Keenan guy going off,
Mhm.
like I'm gonna put hands on this guy. I'm just like,
Yeah,
bro,
dude,
my God,
like, I get
like,
so emotional.
Jesus, basketball, bro. Like, and honestly, for me, it's tough, right? Because I grew up, as I mentioned, Washington Heights, Scarborough. Like, I've grown up in some pretty bad areas where it was pretty regular for people to get stabbed, people get jumped, people to get shot up, people get killed. For someone to be saying this shit about ball, bro,
Dude, it's not that serious.
basketball, like, y'all fucking kidding me, right? And I'm just like, it was a great moment for me, for real, because in that moment, I was just like, Lord, I'm so glad I'm not old me, because old me would have said something real different about it, you know? And I
You
don't
have a
know.
very
It's
calming vibe. It's like, because sports these days is all just yelling overreaction. It's like, all right, let's analyze. All right, like, the game didn't just happen and we're just like attached to the result. Like, first of all, Darko, like, you've made points on your Twitter that like jump out to me that like I wouldn't know. Like, I remember a few weeks ago you said something about his body expression when you guys are losing leads.
he
Like,
panics.
games like today, like, I'm looking at like you can tell he's gonna call a timeout in like 1 or 2 plays. Like, it's like like their players are like scattering, trying to make a move, and I'm like, oh my God, he needs to improve too. But like, the player empowerment part of it is good. Like, what do you call it? It's for good and bad. Because like with players like Dennis, like, those are players you don't want being ultra empowered. Like, you don't want to be a pushover with those guys. But like I said, when you replace them with
good role players, and you get them in their spots, and like the system connects, like it all like fits like a lock and key. Everything goes good. Like RJ and IQ, those are players who like name recognition, but they have never really been developed. RJ's played with like 4 or 5 point guards. Like he got drafted as number 3, but he got drafted immediately. Julius Randle's there. They signed Marcus Morris. These aren't players who like had a coach holding their hand like Darko. Like, hey, you see that right there? Like that was a forced take. Like I've never seen in his pro career IQ or RJ subbed out of a game, Tibbs grab onto the show. They had Johnny Bryan for that, assistant coach. He's in charge of player development. Like the coach, like when you mess up with Tibbs, like you sit down and whenever you're ready, next time you come, you better play better. Like there's different styles of coaching, and like watching this team, I'm appreciating the stuff that probably fans aren't appreciating. Like what do you call
fair.
it?
I watched a lot of Tibbs. I watched them in Chicago, watched them in New York. Obviously, I still follow a little bit of the Knicks. Granted, I don't watch as much of them, but I'm really enjoying what OG is doing for the Knicks.
OG's amazing, dude.
He's awesome. He was one of my favorite players. I didn't want us to trade him, but I was happy we did for what we did, right? Because here's the thing, like as much as I think that the Raptors probably right now would be better with OG, I think they would be.
How were you guys so bad with him?
He wasn't playing for us how he's playing with the Knicks. Let's just put it that way,
That's
right?
crazy.
Like he started out the season playing that way, but then he kind of tailed off, and we were doing a dissection on the last live about like where the Raptors season went off the cliff, and it's pretty much timed up exactly with OG kind of taking it off on defense. But point being, like I think that like for people who have a very Scotty centric like vision for this team, I get you. But to exclusively make the entire development about Scotty versus the world is crazy. Emmanuel Quickley has holes in his game, holes that you need to address very soon. You need to know that he can become what you want him to be. And you want evidence of that in games like this, high leverage games. I always felt like teams, like games that are close, you learn a lot about your team. You learn a lot about your player personnel. I know Scotty Barnes can take Lou Dort in the post and put him on skates. I know he can take Chet Holmgren off the bounce. He did it to Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo last year. I don't need this information. What I need to know is, can I put the ball in Emmanuel Quickley's hands in a pick and roll and trust him to make the right play as a point guard? Because that's not really a lot of shit that I've seen in New York. Can I trust him with a longer defender like a Lou Dort or even a Shea or Josh Giddey? Josh Giddey blocked, I think, RJ twice tonight. Yeah. So can I trust these two guys in close quarters down the stretch? Because now I really have something, right? Again, everything about the Raptors and everything about this team should be intel and development. Intel and development. Development is only as good as your intel. And your intel is only as good as your development. It is one hand washes the other. If I don't know what Emmanuel Quickley is bad at, I can't develop him. I really can't. So I need to understand two-step gather, left foot, right foot. I need to have all of this intel before I put together a package for what I want to pay him, but also before I put together a package of what he needs to work on going into next season. It's the same thing with Scotty. I think we have a much clearer understanding of what Scotty needs to work on than Emmanuel Quickley. I think we also have a much clearer understanding that he will get there than Emmanuel Quickley. But if Emmanuel Quickley could become, and I'm not going to say Tyrese Maxey because that's very, very tempting, but he's not that. But if he could become, if he could become Jalen Brunson-esque,
Oof.
Tough.
That's a big ask.
I mean, it's a big ask right now. But if I had, but consider where Jalen Brunson was at 24, and maybe it's comparable, right?
Yeah.
And like, because Tyrese Maxey is no offense to Jalen Brunson, but he's on another level in terms of trajectory. Like Tyrese Maxey is 22, 23, and the physical gifts and the splashing, whatever. But like when I say could he become Jalen Brunson, the reason I say that is because the size issue is there. So with IQ, like defensively, I think like laterally he moves his feet very quickly, but he moves off his he gets bumped off his space way too easy. With RJ, all the physical tools are there to be a good defender. Maybe lateral quickness is not great, but awareness.
Something about RJ's defense? Like for the last few years, there's been this thing that has been ignored. like his knee issues. Like 2 seasons ago, like when he was like an upward trajectory, he had a mid-season knee injury that caused him to miss the end, and he didn't have he's like entering last year, which was his down year. He didn't have a full training camp. He only did shooting, and like he came back like his worst defensively, and like he would have this knick-knack injury. And the Knicks, we have this habit of like ignoring like nagging injuries, like so you will see like, oh, RJ Barrett, right knee soreness, and it'll come back up, and it came back up like the last week or so. I'm like, like, is he forcing it? Is he letting it fully heal? Like, we're not, like, you guys aren't playing for anything. Like, if anybody has any knacking stuff, like RJ, he needs to, dude. The good thing about RJ and IQ is that they played with two better players. So if there's a situation where like Shea comes, like they're not gonna have an issue being third or fourth option. They did that in New York, right? And the fact that they're being actually developed, I can see a future where RJ and IQ fit perfectly, but they need to fall in line.
They do. And I think for Scotty, you know, like, I mean, as much as people want him to take over, like the truth is, like, if I'm being completely honest, RJ probably has an easier path to being like a 20-shot attempt guy than Scotty right now.
Based on matchup.
It's based on matchups. It's also based on his entire scoring package right now. Yeah, he's limited as fuck, but his handle is a little bit tighter. And you know, it's a little bit more dynamic and his matchup is easier. So why wouldn't he take more shots? He probably always would, right? Until Scotty gets to that level. So, you know, it's just about that. It's like, you know, like same thing with Emmanuel Quickley, right? Like Emmanuel Quickley, clearly, you know, he has his limitations. There's an upside limitation, how you can stop him. Scotty doesn't have a guy that you can put on him to stop him. I've never seen it in my life. I've never seen a guy like, oh, well, if you put a 6'8" stopper on him, he's going to stop him. No. If you put a big on him, he's going to stop him. No. Put a guard on him, he's going to stop him. No. Yeah, there's no specific thing that can stop him. And that's exactly what you build a superstar around, right? That's what you like. That's your, you know, Kawhi. Like, I've never seen anyone stop Kawhi. I've never seen anyone stop KD. I've never seen anyone stop LeBron. I've seen them have bad games. I've never seen anyone just say, okay, well, you know, you stick like a stocky, you know, undersized defender against this guy and he's just going to struggle. No, he's not going to. So that's the thing. With RJ, there's limitations. With Emmanuel Quickley, there's limitations. Can we work through some of those limitations? Can we hone out the rest of their game? Can we develop them as passers, playmakers, so they can sort of better fit into this 0.5 offense? Can we tap out some untapped potential? Because I think they both have like, yeah, man. I think that like, here's the thing. OG, great player. Pascal, great player. But talent level here is like RJ and Emmanuel Quickley have that level of talent. They may never achieve that level of excellence, but they have that level of talent plus some. Because I watched RJ in high school, very talented player. Dude. And the growth has not really occurred where I would have liked it to with him. The passing, the playmaking, you know, some of the decision making, some of the reads and understanding, getting the tunnel vision, you know, somewhat like limited in his role in New York as a corner shooter. So, you know, immediately in transition, you're already going more towards his strengths. Right. And it's the same thing with Emmanuel Quickley. Like, you know, you bring Jakob Poeltl back, you get a screen setter. Now, can we get him closer to the rim on those finishes instead of these like, you know, like these like 12, 15 foot floaters? Can we get him a little bit closer to the rim and not get blocked? Can we get him finishing a little bit more dynamic? Because, hey, man, look, you may not have watched OG last year, but I did. Watch every single game of OG Anunoby last year, and I watch every OG game this year, with the exception of maybe 7 or 8 Knicks games so far. His play finishing at the rim is completely changed with the summer work and the preseason work that he did with this staff. Jama and Darko fucking completely changed this guy's playmaking, and you see it in that game that he scored 26 points. Oh my God, like. He's doing some cool stuff around the rim, and he was not doing that last year. And he's 25 going on 26 or 26 going on 27. So my point is, like, you know, certainly if you can do it with him, granted he's a bigger athlete, you can certainly do it with RJ. I think you know, play finishing. So here's the thing. yeah, everyone wants Scotty to be the guy who scores 35 points as we lose, win, whatever. People will not give a shit if Scotty scores 35. This channel has often been accused of being a Scotty super fan channel. I'm not that. I obviously believe that he should be the guy, but I'm not some super fucking like Scotty above everything. Everyone go fuck themselves. No, I think it's very important for this team to concurrently develop. So it is important that if this team is going to be successful next year, that Grady take that step that he needs to take as a 3-level scorer who can finish in the paint, catch and shoot, dribble, initiate. You want, like, we just watched a team, like the OKC Thunder, that had 4 or 5 different initiators. This is the way the modern NBA is going. You want this. You always want this. And so it will never result in wins if Scotty is your lone initiator. He's not LeBron James. This is never going to happen. I don't even think LeBron James could do it in today's NBA. You need multiple initiators.
You can't.
So even LeBron, like where are LeBron's championships? With Kyrie, right?
They're not going to do it alone. That's what
exactly.
I feel like they think that dude, Masai is going to get somebody. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't even know if he's in the league right now. I don't know if we're going to
maybe not.
Draft
maybe you need to tank next year and get that guy. But my point is that at some point, you know, you're going to have like what every team has, which is you're going to have a puzzle, and you want as many pieces tied up for as reasonable a contract for as many years as humanly possible when you start putting in the final 2-3 pieces of that puzzle together. And you want flexibility, and you want the ability to be able to trade these guys out. Like some people have asked, you know, when the Raptors are next contenders next, will RJ and IQ be on this team? I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe not, and that's fine.
Exactly.
Like, if you guys trade them in package for freaking Shea.
Well, it's probably not going to happen, but yeah,
hey,
I mean, like, but hey, it could happen, and that's the point, right? Like, you keep your draft picks, you develop these guys, you make them better, and that's the whole modus operandi. That's how the Raptors were successful for 10 years. They took an asset like a 2nd-round pick from the Milwaukee Bucks, they turned it into Norman Powell. They took an asset like a 1st-round pick. They turned it into Jonas Valanciunas, which they turned into Marc Gasol. Like this is the game of ping-ponging assets into better assets, taking the asset, developing the asset, trading the asset, taking the asset, developing the asset, trading the asset. You just took the 27th overall pick, extracted 35 win shares out of Pascal Siakam, and then traded him for 3 first-round picks and Bruce Brown, who you'll probably get another first-round pick for. That is smart asset management. Letting Fred VanVleet go for nothing, probably not the greatest asset management, but also, you know, signing him probably long-term, not the greatest asset management either. So I just think the Raptors are in a better place than people realize. And frankly, winning this game would not have done shit for me. Like, I would have been perfectly fine losing this game, winning this game. I didn't care. I wanted the Raptors to play hard. I wanted them to compete. I wanted them to test themselves. I wanted them to know that they're not as bad as their record. Weirdly enough, really psychologically, they're not. They're the best team. When I look at the bottom 6 teams, I'm like, the Raptors are not like these teams at all. You know? So anyways, Repo, thanks a lot. Repios, my bad. Thanks for calling in, man. Really appreciate it. Definitely call back anytime. Appreciate the love from New York. And I don't know what the hell it is, but I always have like the best conversations with people from back home. So thanks so much for calling in, man.
No problem, man. Have a good night.
Appreciate it, man. See ya. All right, let's get to those calls. Not those calls. My bad. All the callers are gone. We got 440. We got 404 people in here. Let's get to the post games. We will get to the Raptors, but because this is Canada's team, we will also listen to Shea Gilgeous-Alexander after. Okay. All right, let's get to the Raptors.
Since dealing with your left knee swelling, played 43 minutes tonight, led the team in 23 points. What did you see out there? How did it feel to be back?
It felt good to be back, just be out there with the guys, for sure. I mean, today was obviously a crazy game, but just to be back out there playing basketball was, felt good for me.
Down the stretch, of course, it was a tough one because you guys pushed it to double overtime. Just walk me through what it was like out there for you. What did you see?
Yeah. Obviously, OKC is a very good team. I think we played really well. Obviously, had an extremely good first half, and I think even the second half we played well for stretches. I mean, they were going to make a run, of course, and we battled back, and we're up 2 with like 10 seconds left. So, it's a game we should win.
Rebounding has obviously been an issue, especially when Yak was out, and it was an issue in the second half again. Is it just attention to detail, focus? What do you think needs to be done to firmly address it?
Yeah, I think in the second half they really played a lot harder. Yeah. So that's kind of one thing, and we just got to kind of be locked in for 48 minutes to make sure that we're rebounding all throughout the game.
How do you repeat that effort, though, kind of going into tomorrow's back-to-back game against New Orleans, coming out with that same level of energy and intensity, especially coming off of a double OT?
Yeah, man, get to the hotel, get some sleep, just get ready for tomorrow.
Emmanuel obviously had some big shots, big moments. Is that the player you came to know, New York?
Yeah, sure. And he's just coming back, too, so he'll find his It's funny, I mean, he had a double-double today, so, that was big.
And then what was it like to go up against Team Canada, teammates in Shea as well as Lou?
Oh, it's always fun going up against them. I was trying to get the win so I could talk trash, but, they did their thing, for sure.
Second game back for you after dealing with that ankle injury. How did it feel out there tonight?
It felt better. I feel like I'm already catching my rhythm again. Obviously not at 100% yet. Still got to get my conditioning back. But overall, it felt pretty good.
Definitely, Coach and RJ were impressive, obviously, with how you were playing in the paint on both sides of the ball. What did you see out there that just felt like it was working for you?
I honestly don't know. The game just ended. I think I got easy buckets there for the most part. I got found in a couple of dump offs and stuff, but really just tried to crowd the paint since we didn't do a good job with that in the Houston game. And then on offense, like I said, I think my shots just kind of came to me.
Obviously, it was a tough one being at double overtime, but you guys played very well in the first half. That's something that Coach also pointed out. What can you take away from that half that you could go bring into tomorrow's game?
I think our activity was very good on defense. We had really good rotations. So I think we got to keep that up. I think we guarded their one-on-one very well with our team defense. So we're probably going to see more of that tomorrow with some really good one-on-one players, and we gotta apply that tomorrow as well.
All right, Coach, tough one tonight. Obviously, double overtime. Walk me through what you saw.
Played on the road against a really good team. I thought that the first half we did outstanding job both on offense and defense. We kept the team from scoring in the paint, and we were able to rebound the ball and really fueled our offense. Really good ball movement in the first half with 19 assists as well. In the second half, we knew that they're going to have a run there. We were able to control it at certain points. At the end of the game, we were up 2 and we secured defensive rebound. All we had to do is, secure the ball there and go to the free throw line and win it. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over there, and I tried to call timeout. Unfortunately, referees did not see that in time. Rebounding was the problem in the second half. That was their biggest adjustment in the second half. They went rebounding much more, and that hurt us.
Again, the late game situations, the turnover, the block shot, those are the growing pains for young teams. You got to go through those bad ones to get to
growing pains for sure. But a lot to learn for us tonight. We did some really good stuff, and a lot of those guys are being for the first time in those situations as well, closing games and understanding what they need to do and how they need to play there. This is going to be great film for me to study and learn our team as well. We were able to take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander when he was in foul trouble and create good stuff for us offensively, and we just did not have enough to finish the game.
It seemed like Scotty was very hesitant to be involved down the stretch offensively. Obviously, a lot of minutes. What did you see? Why wasn't he able to get involved in the overtimes in the last few minutes?
Yeah, first of all, we were looking for less of the matchups there, trying to get against players who were in a foul situation. Also, when we went to him, he was trying to connect with teammates and find them for shots. And it's also for him to understand how he needs to affect the game in those moments. And sometimes that's like with all ball cut, or it's a good spacing, and sometimes with on the ball and then creating on the ball as well. So it was good game for us to learn how to handle those situations tonight.
That last play of of the first overtime, was it just designed for Scotty to get it and make a read?
Yes, we wanted the ball in his hands to create there, and in situations like that, we were going to quickly a couple of times in a row. We just wanted to give it a different look there at the end because they were ready for that.
What did you see for tonight from Jakob Poeltl, as he was pretty effective on both sides in the paint?
After missing 4 weeks, coming back to play, he's finding his rhythm. I thought that he did a lot of great stuff for us tonight. He did a better job of protecting the rim. He did a good job playing in pick and rolls, in short rolls. I thought that he played a very effective game.
Thanks for watching the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel. Check out our latest video.
Jeez. Okay. Okay. We will definitely talk about final things to close out this live, which has gone an hour and 39 minutes. Y'all appreciate the fact that because I am very, very busy planning this festival, that we will not be doing 4-hour lives until, of course, the trade deadline. And we are really, really close to the trade deadline. The trade deadline is this Thursday. Yikes. So we will talk about, right after this message, we will talk about the final implications of where we are in the season. We'll talk about the upcoming schedule, of course, starting with the game tomorrow against a very, very competent New Orleans team that the Raptors are absolutely on the heels of a back-to-back double overtime where they'll have less than 24 hours to prepare. Yeah, like it's yikes. We'll talk about where the Raptors are in terms of their tank odds, right? And yeah, we'll close it out with that. But first, a quick word from our sponsor, which is the Pendance Film Festival, which is coming up very soon, 18 days away. And the films are finally finalized. It's a 41 film lineup, which may become a 42 film lineup by tomorrow. It's awesome. It's awesome. And I'm getting emails from all these filmmakers from all over the world, from Australia, from LA, from everywhere. And they're coming in to hopefully snowy Toronto in a couple of weeks. The weather has been very timid. I need this festival to get snowy. So I don't know, global warming kind of messing up Pendance right now, but tickets are on sale for individual passes are on sale. If you support this channel, please understand Pendance is my life and it is a huge part of my life. And if you have a film lover in your life, please guide them to check out pendancefilmfestival.com. As of 7 a.m. tomorrow, all the individual links will be up and you'll be able to see it. And if you're a fan of Spanish cinema, there's a ton of films from Spain. So first, a quick word from our sponsor. The Pendance Film Festival is happening February 22nd to 25th. It is a celebration of international films. It is a brilliant film festival in its 7th season. Prior to the COVID pandemic, it was the fastest growing film festival in the world. What is my affiliation with Pendance? What are they paying me to say this? Well, I am Pendance. I'm the festival director and founder of Pendance. It is my baby. And if you love great films, if you have a film lover in your life, this is a worthwhile event for you, happening in downtown Toronto at the Carlton Cinema, February 22nd to 25th. Make sure to check this out. Link is in the description below for tickets and passes. Tickets will go on sale soon. Passes are already on sale. Let's get to this. All right. Okay, let's check out Tankathon and where the Raptors are right now. Yikes. Okay. Pull. Stop it. Thank you so much, man. I'm looking forward to it. Like, we're slowly getting prepared and it's exciting because I don't think our film lineup has, like, okay, so here's the thing. Like, I love our films every single year, but this year I'm just like, I'm looking around. I'm like, these films are going to change people's lives big time. Okay, that is the wrong screen. Pull that off. Share screen. Here we go. Tankathon. Okay, the Toronto Raptors are Well, the Portland Trailblazers just lost tonight to the Denver Nuggets. Phew. The Raptors lost as well. The Raptors are 2 games. Well, actually, they're 2.5 games out of that 5. And honestly, it's like, unless you're planning on losing, like, I want to say, like, unless you're planning on losing like 16, 17 of the next 20, it's probably not going to be enough to catch up to the Portland Trailblazers. And I mean, you can just pretty much kiss Charlotte, San Antonio, Washington, and Detroit goodbye, right? Like those are gone. So really your best bet is, can you catch this team? Can you stay ahead of this team? And really you are in the midst of a tank. Like, this is a legit tank, and there's really no point right now in trying to go for some massive, play and run. I think that door pretty much shut like about 4 or 5 games ago. Naturally, going into the trade deadline, I expect a lot of players to get moved. Okay. So some fast facts about the trade deadline. Okay. So a long time ago, the trade deadline was not so active. Okay. Like, there used to be, I want to say about when I was a kid, I think it was pretty common for 2-3 trades at the trade deadline. There might be 45 to 50 players moved at this deadline. And a lot of people feel like this trade deadline probably won't be super active because there aren't a ton of buyers. There aren't a ton of sellers. Well, there are more buyers than sellers, really. But a lot of players have been kind of taken off the market, right? If you consider it, right? The players who've already been traded, OG, Pascal, who would have been big deadline targets, have been taken off, right? You have DeJounte Murray. He hasn't been moved yet. You have Zach LaVine. He's out for the year. Can't trade him. Well, you could trade him technically, but I don't know who would take him right now. So Steven Adams has been moved. We've been very active in the weeks leading up to the deadline, which is leading some people to believe that maybe the trade deadline will be kind of quiet. But for the Raptors, the trade deadline could be a very good, very, very good opportunity to be major time sellers, I think. Kihan saying, I pray we have a lot of new players by Friday. Yeah, me too. Here's the thing. You have some players on this team that can really help another team win basketball games. And you don't really need them to help you win basketball games because you're not trying to win basketball games right now. You also don't want to do something so disruptive to your culture that you basically make it so that, you have to do something like, I think people mentioned it last time when we saw the Houston Rockets, where the Houston Rockets lost for so long that they basically had to bring in culture to win, right? I think you have winners here. I think, guys like Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett and Scotty Barnes, these are guys who've won a lot in their careers, NBA careers, high school careers, AAU careers. They've won a lot, college careers. Grady has won a lot in his life, a lot. You don't want to get these guys too accustomed to losing either, right? So you still want to be building good habits, but you do have to accept reality. And the reality is you've traded this pick away. And if you, somehow surrender it this year, it's going to be a very high pick that you could probably use, a high pick that you could use on a piece that you could probably use to your future. And I think the one thing I will say from the Raptors team building perspective is, if Scotty Barnes is flanked by Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett as his number 2 and number 3 options going forward, probably you don't have one of the best young cores in the league. There are probably 6, 7, maybe even 8 teams that have a brighter future than you if that's your core. Okay. But if over the last, how many games are left in this season, right? I mean, we are last 30-ish games. In the last 30 games of the season, if you can find something with Grady, which means like occasional 20, 22 point, 25 points, finishing at the rim, better defense, better handle, some pick and roll ball handling. If you can find better finishing at the rim from Emmanuel Quickley, if you can just piecemeal this, because let's be honest, the Raptors could run out a fully healthy roster and win 10 more games the rest of the season, which puts you at 27. But you know what that's going to do? That's going to make you 7th or 8th. Okay, because there's a very good chance that Brooklyn is trying to tank. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure their pick is going to Houston regardless. Look at Memphis. Like, Memphis is right on our heels. They're half a game back, right? So at this point, you've lost as many games as Memphis, right? But really, the wins are what counts here, not the losses. When you're trying to make the playoffs, it's the losses that count. When you're trying to tank, it's the wins that count. Because right now, if the Raptors basically decided we're not going to win any more games, Memphis can't do shit. They can never catch up to you because they've already won one more game than you have. It's important to realize. So am I suggesting that the Raptors literally punt the rest of the season? Probably, yeah. But don't waste it. Don't waste it. Have more games like tonight where, yeah, you come out great. You prove something to yourself. You find things about your team, have high leverage moments, and then lose. It's great, and that's hard to do. It's hard to do by accident. So maybe you're gonna have to do it a little bit on purpose. And yeah, I hate tanking and all that stuff, but I would also hate to lose the 7th pick in a pretty, not so sexy, fine draft. But I would also hate to lose this pick because I think the Raptors could really use it. So that's where I'm at. I hope at the trade deadline, the Raptors trade away players who, frankly, have something more to give. As much as I'm not a huge Dennis Schroeder fan, as much as at times I've had issues with Chris Boucher's shot selection, these are guys who can help teams that have playoff ambitions, okay? Off the bench, not as starters. Otto Porter, man, I just want him to leave because I love Otto, and I think he's a great player. And I think if he was playing for this team and if they had decided to continue to play him as they were earlier in the season, they'd be a better team for it. I think the Raptors are pretty good in games Otto plays, and they're pretty bad in games he does not play. And I think that's not a coincidence. He's a winning player. Chris Boucher, in 10 minutes a night off the bench is a winning player. 30 minutes a night, maybe he's not a winning player. The Raptors have winning players in this team, but this is not winning time. This is losing time. And there's no awards for being 11th. None. Okay? So what I would like for this team to do at the deadline is get 1 to 2 more pieces that are young enough to grow with your core. Okay? A center would be great. Like really, really great. A center with some upside who's under 24 years old would be fantastic. From there on out, start shutting down guys. Shut down Jakob Poeltl if he's not traded. Shut him down for like 10 games. Shut down Scotty Barnes for 5 games. Do it. Just do it. Okay? It may not be popular. It may not be ethical. But continue to try to win with limited pieces on the floor. There's no point in getting injured. There's no point in, playing a guy 48 minutes. Scotty Barnes, 48 minutes tonight. I think that's irresponsible, man. It's irresponsible. Okay? So... anyways, what does a pick guarantee you? Not a damn thing. It guarantees you an asset, okay, that you could potentially use or trade. It guarantees you an asset. Surrendering the 7th pick or the 6th pick in this draft, well, not the 6th pick, but surrendering the 7th pick does not grant you an asset. It grants you a loss. It grants you a loss on a terrible trade that gets more terrible by the second, okay? So as much as people want to say, no, convey the pick this year and, clear your deck for 2025. At least, you move the pick off and that way you can at least trade 2027, 2026, whatever. I don't agree. Okay. As much as I like, a lot of the players at the very, very top of the 2025 and 2026 draft. The truth is, if you're really, really bad next year, you'll still have a chance to tank. I don't think the Raptors plan to be that bad. I really don't. I think they have some really good ambition, some really high hopes for Cooper. Not Cooper Flag. Wow. Whoops. I think they have high hopes for Emmanuel Quickly. I think they have high hopes for RJ Barrett. I think whether they're long-term goals or not, I think they intend to develop these guys and make them better players than they are currently. And if they are better players than they are currently, a year from now, maybe at the next trade deadline, these are guys that you can actually move, okay, for something that you really, really want, okay? But at this point, the Raptors are playing the asset game. And that 6th overall pick is a hell of an asset. If it becomes the 1st overall pick, please don't ignore that if you do end up with a bottom 5 record, because of the flattening of the lottery odds, chances are you might move up to the top 4. Okay. And at that point, who knows? Maybe you get the first overall pick. Could you use a 7-footer? That's a bouncy 7-footer. I think you could. So yeah, I don't know. I think there are assets to be had. The Raptors need assets right now. I think they need to, they've done the tough thing, which is they've taken the Band-Aid off and moved on from the past regime that just wasn't working. And for anyone who wants to say, there was a comical tweet from Aaron Rose the other day of what would have happened if Fred VanVleet had come back. My God, man, get over it. Like, we need to move on with our lives, right? Like, we really need to move on with our lives. No, this team was going nowhere fast. This is a team that got bounced in the play-in by a 10-year-old girl last year, okay? So let's be real about what this team was when they were fully healthy. And they had no injuries. They had no excuses last year, okay? Fred was there. OG was there. Pascal was there. Scotty was there. Jakob was there. And they still got bounced in the play-in, okay? They had 41 wins, okay? This was not going anywhere. And all of those players, last I checked, Pascal, worse this year. Fred, probably worse this year, right? And next year, it's going to get worse. And the next year, it's going to get worse. Windows end, okay? The Sacramento Kings eventually did trade Chris Webber, okay? They did, right? I didn't dream that. They did it, right? The Minnesota Timberwolves eventually traded Kevin Garnett. Granted, he still had an extension and, he had a great career after with Boston. But my point is, windows do end, right? And you do have to cut your losses at some point and move on to the next chapter. For the Raptors, that next chapter will, of course, start with Scotty Barnes. But it will not be only about Scotty Barnes. And so to the fans who say, I just care about this guy, stop. You need to care about much more. He certainly cares about much more. Darko certainly cares about much more. Masai certainly cares about much more. You do need to care that Emmanuel quickly becomes better at finishing the paint. You do have to care that RJ Barrett becomes a better ball handler and a better decision maker and less tunnel vision and a better defender. You do have to care that Emmanuel quickly becomes a better point of attack defender. You're going to need these guys next year when you're actually trying to be good, and these reps are going to matter. You do need Grady Dick to be a serviceable, if not dynamite, 25 minutes per game guard/wing off the bench for you next year. You need that. You need it because he's on a rookie contract. And if he can start giving you value on that rookie contract as early as next year, you're sitting pretty for the next 3 years, because that's 3 years of a discount contract. He's the 13th overall pick. It's not a super high lottery pick, right? So if he can start being a 25-minute per game guy, great. He's not bleeding defensively for you. He can provide some playmaking. He provides spacing. He works really well with Scotty. He and Scotty are just like, they are the two guys that I'm just like, those two are going to be on this team for a very long time together. I know people can't completely see it right now with Grady, but just trust me on this one. That's probably Scotty's favorite teammate right now. So, Good Eye saying, how's your dog doing now? He is much better. Thank you so much. He's still going through his things. Obviously, the past month and a half was a huge adjustment for us all here. He is 14 years old. He will be 15 in 2025. 2024. So, in August 2024, he'll be a 15-year-old dog. So I'm not under the illusion that he's going to live forever, but I hope that he can live. I hope he can live forever, man. I've had him since I was 21 years old. I would love to have him if I'm 40. That would be great. So yeah, thank you so much for the super chat and for asking that question. I appreciate it. Anyways, so I think that the Raptors are in a good place. Please don't live and die with these moments. Scotty Barnes is a good closer. He's a good playoff performer. We have seen it time and time again. This obviously was an isolated game. Scotty has not spoken to the media. I think Scotty's spoken to the media maybe twice since OG was traded, maybe 3 times. He used to be the guy who closed out these interviews. He's not a happy camper right now for whatever reason, right? He's not happy they're losing. Fine. He's not happy his teammates got traded. Fine. For all the people, who've been saying, for all the people who've been saying, like, we want this guy traded, that guy traded for Scotty to clear the way, whatever, to clear the way for Scotty. I don't think Scotty was necessarily on board with that. I don't think Scotty wanted OG traded so he can get more touches. I think he was pretty upset, you know. I'm not even sure Scotty necessarily wanted Pascal traded. I'm almost willing to bet he didn't. Some of us did, but I don't think Scotty was that guy. I think Scotty appreciates having good teammates, teammates who can score and teammates who can defend. So I'll be interested to see what the core is going forward. I think in 4 days we'll have a much clearer idea of that. I think there's some surprising value that some other teams may see in some of the Raptors role players who are not playing. Did Scotty Barnes block you? No, of course not. Why would Scotty ever block us? No, he blocked Barnes Muse, which was hilarious, by the way. That was funny. Every night after the game, I tell my wife I need to go talk to my shrink. Okay. Am I your shrink? Okay. I have no idea. Anyways. Okay. As I said, Penn Dance is coming up in a little over 2 weeks. If you're around Toronto, if you like cinema, if you like foreign cinema, if you like great stories, there's a lot of English language films as well. There's some incredible films coming from New York. Super awesome films, man. Films that'll change your life. The shorts program is super cool too. There's an entire one devoted to parents. It's called To My Parents. It's like some real like life shit, man. Sorry I missed the live. Well, thankfully these are recorded, so you can definitely go back. All right. We have clipped 2 hours. Crap. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one. And again, thank you, Carlo, Jacob, and Good Eye for the super chats. Appreciate it. As I mentioned before, this month is going to be a little bit lighter on content, but I will restate my channel vision for this channel that once Penn Dance is over on February 25th, I am taking exactly 7 days to just breathe, get my wits about me, plan, and then I will execute. You know, and I have a clear idea of like what I want to do with this channel and how I want to, you know, grow it. And yeah, I will. You know, we had a really good month last month. This month is going to be a little bit of a, apart from obviously the trade deadline, and you know, it's going to be a little bit lower. But I have a feeling the Raptors are heading towards a very beautiful summer, in which I think that will lead to a very fruitful summer league, you know, with a whole bunch of rookies coming in. I think there's going to be a lot of progress for this team in the offseason. Hopefully some free agent signings, maybe a little OG Anunoby return. Who knows? I don't think my new New York friend would be super happy about that, but certainly I would be thrilled. OG still hasn't gotten a place in New York. He's still living out of a hotel. Go figure. So, yeah. And I think this is going to be a good thing, man. Like, I think you just need to be patient. You just need to be patient with this, man. The Raptors are heading in the right direction. For years, they've been heading in the wrong direction, okay? Course corrections take time. I will actually conclude with one more thing. I do believe that who you are carries you through, okay? I say this as somebody who has always bounced back. I think my entire identity as a human being is the ability to bounce back from things. And regardless of what it was, that was always my ace in the hole, is that come whatever happened, parents died, parents divorced, grandparents died, lost family, lost loved ones, lost friends, lost money. It didn't matter. It always sucked. Lost partners, lost girlfriends, breakups, like tough, you know, friends leave, whatever, right? Lose a job, lose a whole bunch of money on the stock market. I mean, it's like the amount of times where I felt like, this is bottom. This sucks, you know? But somehow there is like this resilience within that always says, okay, stop, next, okay, build it back. Every time, there's always a build back. There's always a push back. There's always a climb back. There's always life force. That is the definition of who I've been for most of my life, where now I'm to the point where when I'm having like a really, really bad moment, I'm just like, it's okay, because I always get out of these. That's how you define your identity, right? I think that the Raptors are in a similar state where they have fallen on their faces. A lot of decisions that they've made for the last 3, 4, 5 years have finally caught up with them. And it's happening in like a 1 month span where all those decisions, the draft picks, the not moving off of Fred soon enough, not trading Pascal soon enough, not trading OG soon enough, not developing Scotty soon enough, all of these things are just blowing up, extending Jakob to the contract that they did. The Christian Coloco thing, all of it is just, not winning on the edges, not having enough shooting, not tanking last year, and then, potentially watching guys like Cason Wallace tonight, watching guys like Derek Lively be the exact type of rookies you would need on this team. All of these things are just blowing up, and then maybe it makes you feel even worse to see how well OG's doing in New York, to see how well, Pascal's doing in Indiana, to know that those guys are probably going to be in the playoffs this year and maybe even have a chance to compete for a second round or a championship. What's that going to feel like? And right now it just feels low. But there's the thing. What have the Raptors, like, if I'm saying I'm defined by bounce back, what is it that the Raptors are defined by? Scouting, reinvention, extensions. This is a team that gets talent, okay? And what is it that Darko is defined by? Development, patience, trust, culture, right? So I'm going to trust that the combination of Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster at the front office, right? Scouting with a whole bunch of draft assets now, and Darko Rajakovic with a full summer to work with Scotty, to work with Emmanuel Quickly, to work with RJ Barrett, to work with these guys, to work with the rookies, to work with the young players. I feel this Raptors team is going to come out next season guns blazing. Are they going to be a 50-win team next year? Probably not. But I think they're going to be a 40-plus win team next year. I think the shooting is going to get better. I think Scotty's going to take the step that most of you expect of him as a 23-year-old, okay? And again, a 23-year-old is not in his prime, guys. I'll remind you that. He might come out and be 7-8 boxes finest next year, and he won't be in his prime. So what is the prime? The prime is whatever the fuck he's going to be in 4 years. That's the prime. Granted, could be a very odd player who hits his peak early, but I doubt it. Scotty strikes me as a guy who's going to hit his peak at about 26. 26 to about 31 is going to be peak Scotty Barnes. Right now, Scotty Barnes is a really good player. Really good player. He's the second best player on the court tonight, in my opinion, apart from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's drawing the toughest defensive matchups. He's getting double teamed for a reason. He's a very good player. He needs to get better. 4 years later, how much better? I have a feeling it's going to be a very scary, scary thing. So, patience is a virtue. Practice patience. Don't live and die by every moment. Don't live and die on every single game. Don't forget 199 game sample size for one game. This emotional reactivity is so weird to me. It's not necessary. You can just enjoy. We can acknowledge someone had a bad game without making a case about it. You don't call a guy a ball hog because he hogged the ball for one game. You call him a ball hog if he hogs the ball for like 13, 18 games out of a 20-game stretch. Just be rational about it. That's all I can say. Anyways, take care, guys. Oh my goodness. Mel, gotta help. Grady's issue is confidence. No, it's not. He's not a guy who's lacking confidence. He's a guy who is, quite frankly, physically outmatched on a night-to-night basis by just about every single person. He is a 20-year-old who is not very strong in the upper body, is not able to finish through contact, whose shot may or may not be quick enough to get off clean at this level. who needs probably an entire summer of serious development reps and will probably be at best a 22 minutes per game guy next year, hopefully. Okay. So he, much like Scotty, much like IQ, much like RJ, will need time, just like any 21, 22, 23, 24-year-old is going to need some time. Okay. And you want the results to come sooner, but that's just not. Nobody who dresses the way he does, nobody who talks the way he does lacks confidence. Okay. He comes out, he draws charges against guys who are basically twice as strong as him. He does not give a shit. I've been very impressed with Grady Dick. I realize some people will still say, but Cam Whitmore, but Jordan Hawkins, but this guy, but Kobe Buffkin, but, Brandon Pajimski, but Jaime Jaquez. This is looking like a hell of a great draft. I have a feeling when the dust settles in a couple of years, 3 years, maybe 4 years, we'll look down on it. I think Grady will be one of the 10 to 12 best players selected in this draft. Will he be the third best player in this draft? Fuck no, probably never. Okay, will he be the fifth best player in this draft? No, he won't. But if he can be one of the 10 to 12 best players in this draft, great. Did you just get did you get another Scotty Barnes? No, you didn't. Okay, but I think he could be really good. I don't think there's anything stopping him. I think he's going to be fine. Okay, so facts. He's been so much better in the second half than he was in the first half. You really need to go and watch him in the first half to see how he's attacking closeouts, how he's getting past his man. Like, he's just getting better by the day. And look, I trust basketball IQ and work. I trust these two things more than anything. Your physical advantages. I've seen a lot of guys fail in the NBA who had a lot of physical advantages, physical tools, skill work, early skill work. OJ Mayo, DeJuan Wagner. There's a lot of guys. What I do trust always, time and time again, is intelligent players who work hard. Okay, that's your Landry Fields, your Shane Battier's, your Jeremy Lin's, right? I just named 3 of the smartest players in NBA history, but yeah, your Anthony Parkers. There's a 4th guy who's really, really smart. Your Jorge Garbajosas. There's your 5th guy. Rashan Nasarovich. There's the 6th guy. All guys that I just mentioned, really smart, really hard workers. Okay, if you're smart basketball player who works really hard, you will be successful. Will you be a superstar? Probably not. Okay, that's for the very few. And will Grady be a superstar? Probably not. But could he be a really good starter someday? Hell yes. And is that good value at a 13th overall pick? Yes. Do I wish we tanked? Fuck yes, I wish we tanked. But I would have loved a Bilal Coulibaly or a Cason Wallace or, even a Derek Lively on this team. Like that would have been great. Asar Thompson, Amen Thompson, God, Anthony Black. My God, there's so many guys that I liked in this draft. Grady is slowly becoming one of those guys that I like in this draft. So yeah. Anyways, Rob, as the OKC coach, were you proud of what your team did today? Yes, I was very, very proud of my Thunder team. Clearly, I am Mark's bearded brother. We're very close in age, actually. It's really funny. Okay, let me also flash on the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander interview.
We win for sure. What we brought in the second half was needed, and things that we try to execute and accomplish throughout. Obviously, the whole season, 82 games, and obviously with our back against the walls, we wanted to really make an emphasis on it, and we did so, and we're able to get a W because of it.
You guys did, despite things not going your way for a good, 2/3 of the game, you guys didn't seem to get frustrated by just having to dink the ball out and move it around against the zone and everything. Where does the confidence come from to be that patient in a game and know that things are probably going to turn around for you?
Just trusting each other, and honestly, to win, especially the way they were playing defense tonight. In order to win in a sustainable way, it requires you to trust each other, and the group of guys that we have in the locker room trust each other. So because of that, we were able to win.
Shai, you getting doubled isn't new, but it felt like some of the things the Raptors were trying to do in terms of how high they were pressing up on you, the aggressiveness and trying to get the ball out of your hands was maybe to a degree we haven't seen this year. I just wonder, what changes you saw in terms of your decisiveness, your teammates' decisiveness as the game went on, and just how much of this, I know it's a single game, but how much of this can carry over in the long run, maybe to a postseason run?
Yeah. Yeah, they were really aggressive with me, multiple bodies, pretty much every possession. In the first half, I thought we got, it kind of maybe threw us off a little bit to start the game. We were still getting good looks in the first half, didn't make them. But I think in the second half, I was moving out of it quicker, and my teammates did an amazing job of like playing on the catch, making fast decisions, and being aggressive, whether it was to shoot or to drive and make the next play. And it was their decisiveness that won us the game tonight, for sure.
Yeah. And when you hear 63 3-point attempts and 8 free throws, what do you think?
Good aggressiveness, and taking what the defense gives you. I think at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, especially on the offensive end. You just take what they give you, and tonight they put two on the ball a lot. They had a lot of loads, and they were leaving guys open, and it required us to shoot and make threes, and we shot and made them at a high rate.
And one more for me. I imagine because you were here since the beginning of the rebuild, even before it was a rebuild, that you take some ownership and, turning things around, just kind of the changes that have happened over these past few years. And after this game, it's the team's best 50-game start since the last year, Katie and Russ. Just when you hear that, what do you think?
We're headed in the right direction. We're doing something right. The last 2 seasons, we've gone tremendously better really fast. So whatever we're doing is clearly working. Just got to stay focused and not get complacent and do the same thing.
Teams have thrown a bunch of different stuff at you individually and you guys as a team. You guys have not played a ton of basketball together. What do you think's made you pretty good at figuring things out on the fly, at adjusting in games, things like that?
Personally, I've seen a lot over the years, getting used to it. And then I think at the end of the day, if you play together and play the right way, no matter what coverage it is, you'll figure it out. We have a group of guys that does that almost every possession, so it makes it easy.
And then Josh was in here just talking about, it's been a challenging year for him. He's had to change the way he plays because of some changes that you guys have made, and he's had to sacrifice some for the good of the team. He's gone through some rough stretches. What does it feel like when you see him have a game like tonight where he's really making plays, he's in the right place at the right time, making winning plays?
Yeah, you just tip your hat to him. A guy like Josh, it's the hardest thing to do. Like, he's been a dynamic ball handler his whole career, and some of that has been pulled away from him, obviously. And for him to, like you said, sacrifice, and then tonight, his ball handling and his making plays was needed because of how they were playing defense. And for him to just step up and he never pouts, just keeps his head down and works and be ready for the moment is big time. And that's what professionals do, and he is that for sure.
Hey,
Good, how are you?
Good to see you. A couple of questions for you. One, I don't know if you're aware or not, but I think the only guy who's had more 30-point games through 50 games is MJ back in 86, 87 or something like that. And I'm just was asking Mark previously, what do you attribute your consistency, especially when the level you're trying to reach is so high?
I'm very strict on consistency in every aspect of life, and I think it helps with my basketball. Whether it be eating, my day-to-day schedule, how clean my house is, what I do in my time, whether it's planned out or not. I try to be very strict on discipline, being consistent. I think it helps with basketball.
And then, I'm sure you're not thinking about major individual awards at this stage, but obviously your name's out there, and it's been, I think, 20 years since Steve won his. And when you hear some of that talk regarding an MVP, how do you respond to it, and where would it fit in your set of goals?
It would for sure be up there. I think for every basketball player it is. It's obviously, I'm not naive. I can hear it. Now I channel it out and I try to focus on the day in and day out. It's what got me to this point, and I'd be stupid to do otherwise. So I focus on the day to day for sure.
And just one more, if people don't mind. not yourself, but I mean RJ, you go through basically all the guys who were on that team this summer. They've all had very good NBA seasons to this point. Do you think there's a correlation, other than they're all good players, but do you think something about that experience kind of let them kind of unlock something?
Absolutely. I'm a big advocate of playing FIBA basketball. The style of play, the pace that they play at, the physicality, and at the end of the day, you're playing real basketball games with real refs and real game management and real coaches in the summertime when most guys aren't, and it gets you more reps and more ready for the NBA season. And the last 2 summers I played FIBA basketball, and I felt more sharp coming into the season, and it's for sure no coincidence.
Thanks. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Shea, over the course of your career, you've had a lot of really great vets in your life, from Chris Paul, Al Horford, Steven Adams, and others. Now you're the vet on the team. Kenrich the other day told us that you've really taken Dub under your wing. What exactly has that entailed in terms of working with him?
Why? I actually wanted to hear what he had to say about that. Really interesting. I really like him. I like him a lot. I think he's one of my favorite players in the NBA. I voted him All-Star every single time I could. And he's just a great success story and really evidence for what reps over time, consistency. What I said was, I trust smart players who work hard, right? That's exactly what I said. I trust any player who's super smart who works hard. Very fortunate to know 5 people who know Shea really well, like high school, going back, early ages. Also knew a couple of people who knew Andrew Bennett really well. Anthony Bennett. Got very different tales from those guys. I actually know a lot of people who know Corey Joseph, DeVoe Joseph, all those guys too, Sim Buller, all those guys. Stefan Yankovic. Like my old roommate used to be one of their babysitters. It's a small world when you live in Toronto, right? So what I'm saying is that everything I ever heard about Shea growing up was that he was consistent, that he was a really good kid, that he kept his nose clean, that he didn't get twisted up with the wrong people. He didn't have bad habits. This is what I look for when I look at young players. That's why I'm so confident about Scotty Barnes. He doesn't have bad habits. He's not a smoker. He's not a drinker. He's not a guy who stays up at all hours of the night, messing around with stupid stuff. He's a guy who takes his workouts really seriously. He commits to the craft, man. He's got bigger basketball goals, right? And you trust those guys. You trust those guys to be great. And I trust Scotty to be great. And look, man, this is Shea many years removed from his third year, right? And now it's coming together in a really big way. And earlier this year, maybe Scotty was like on the verge of skipping a step almost, right? Where he went from a 0.4 box plus minus guy to like an 8 box plus minus guy. We're like, oh, did he just skip a year? Now he's coming back down to earth, right? Now he's closer to 3.9, 4.0. And we're like, okay, this is pretty much where I saw it. I did not see a 6.0 box plus minus year. I saw a 3.0 plus year from him this year. And that's probably where he's going to end the year. 3.5, 3.6. Next year, get up to 6, 7. Then the following year, get up to 8 to 10. Now you're a superstar. Now you're an MVP candidate, right? So step by step. But there are a lot of guys who could go step by step, have all the talent, all the physicality, all the coaches, all the teammates, all the organizational support, all the money, all the nutritionists, all the trainers, but they won't do the work because they're not focused. They don't work hard. They don't want it bad enough. And it's simple enough to say it's about want at this level, but it is. Because when everyone can jump through the gym and everyone can run, the 100 meters super fast and everyone can put the basketball in the hole, it really comes down to, are you going to be the guy who's going to take 500 jumpers, 1,000 jumpers, or 2,000 jumpers. Because the guy who's going to take 2,000 jumpers every single day for an entire year, that guy is going to be ahead of the guy who's going to take 500. Are you the guy who's going to be that guy? Because if you're going to be that guy, you'll get there. You'll get there. Just like everyone before you has gotten there. So at the end of the day, to say, to borrow a Dennis Schroeder, at the end of the day, Scotty will be fine. Chill the fuck out. Twitter. Probably going to go on a Twitter space right now just to calm some people's ass down, but probably also be called a whole bunch of names for saying what I'm saying to you, which is it's a process. Calm down. Chill. All right. The biggest factor to someone's success is motivation. I disagree. Although I kind of don't disagree, I want to rephrase what you said. No, I don't think it's motivation. Everyone can be motivated. I think the biggest factor to a person's success is actually consistency. Consistency over time, doing the right things, and having the right reasons for wanting to do the right things, I believe will make you great. And whatever you do, whether it be something as mundane and stupid as this podcasting, or whether it's something as serious as, becoming a great lawyer or a great basketball player or a great doctor or a great surgeon. There's a lot of people who are surgeons that are not great surgeons. Then there are people who are a lot of great artists who are not great artists. I've met a lot of great artists. Trust me, what defines them is work, consistency over time. One of my favorite directors, Mark Rasso, was a bit of a mentor for me. Directed the film Copenhagen, Kodachrome, Under, Awake on Netflix. All three of those films are actually on Netflix if you've seen them. Netflix. Gina Rodriguez, Awake. Anyways, so Mark is a remarkably consistent person. You meet him for coffee, he's on time. That's a consistent thing with him. He's not late. That's a consistency. He's a meticulous, person when he comes down to breaking a script down. He is very meticulous about these things, how he chooses a script, how he deals with people. These things are he's led 2 workshops of Hennes. He's been on time both times. He's just a person who is consistent, and therein lies his greatness. He won a student Oscar because he's great. Like, I don't know what else to say. I'm in awe of people who are like this, Brian Macon, Scotty's trainer. He's great. He's great at what he does. He is remarkably consistent. He has a very powerful why, and that is why he is successful. It is not an accident. It is not God who is making these people successful. I mean, God certainly play a part in it, but I'm saying, like, it's not a work of God. It's not a miracle. It's not luck. It's nothing. It's just consistency over time. You want to be great at things, consistency over time. Anyways, I've been rambling off for about 28 minutes. I feel like I need to go work on Pen Dance. To those of you, again, support independent films. Fuck supporting, man. I hate the word support sometimes because, yes, it is support. It is support for the arts. But honestly, support implies almost like a charity. Support your own mind, man. Like, we watch so much shit today. I was looking at, like, why are we so addicted to content? This is content. So this is irony, right? We're addicted to content because our brains are, like, weirdly desensitized to long-term absorption. So we want like now when you look at Instagram or Twitter reels, it's like multiple reels. Like, people are talking so fast and you need all this information now, and it's so fast, and you have everything on your demand. So, like, if a video is not doing it for you for like 4 seconds, it's like, boom, next video, boom, next video, boom, next video. I'm just saying, there is something really important about going to a cinema or reading a book, and just absorbing and focusing for like 2 hours. I promise you, changes your life. So, if you're Rob, please go to Spaces. I want some comedy. Sure. I do have to do a lot of work for Pen Dance, and I haven't slept yet. I'll go on for like 10 minutes, I think. But yeah, they talked about the man's kids and faces. It's got nasty. What's kids? Whose kids? My kids? I don't have kids. What's going on? Weird. True, but you have to have the desire to be consistent. How bad you want something determines whether you stay disciplined or not. maybe we're splitting hairs on this one, or you know, we're just arguing semantics. I just think like your why, you know. I remember a security guard that I worked with, he was going to school. He had already got his mechanical engineering degree in Iran, and now he was going for another engineering degree here, and he had a wife, and he had a kid, and he had a second kid on the way, and he was working security, and he would, after the security job, he would go and he would do like some sort of like warehouse shift. And I was just like, bro, you have no time. How are you doing this? And I just saw how remarkably efficient he was, and he was thriving. And I'm pretty sure at the time I was in university, he was getting better grades at what he was doing than I was getting at what I'm doing. And I'm like, bro, I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I don't have like all these people relying on me. What the fuck is wrong with me? Why is this guy so successful? He had a really powerful why, because the powerful why was he loved his family. And, you know, he was obviously great because he had made it from Iran to here, and he was willing to pursue a second fucking degree and then something that he had already studied in order to become qualified here. And you almost like look at a guy like that and you're like, why are you doing this? And he's just like, this is my purpose, this is my goal, this is my family, I want to take care of my family. Boom, you know, there's your why. So yeah, exactly, it's your why. So, you know, when your why is not powerful, you get distracted, you get tailed off, right? My why is supporting filmmakers. Like I'll tell you a story. So here's the thing. Some people just hear me talking about pendants. They don't understand where the fuck this comes from. I'm a filmmaker. So my film got selected to a film festival in Florida. And I went to Florida, and I'm not going to name the film festival, but I went there and I spent money to go there and a lot of time to go there. And my short film, which actually, ironically enough, stars this guy. Hang on. Shit, where the fuck is it? Fuck. Hold on. Starring this guy, this short film. Hold on, let me pull this up. Shit. One sec. I gotta show you guys this. One sec. This is hilarious, but I gotta show you this. One sec. It'll help to kind of contextualize what the fuck I'm talking about here. And I hope I don't get demonetized for this, but one sec. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the point is, this film specifically got selected to a film festival in Florida. I went there. I was very excited. Obviously, for a filmmaker, getting selected to a film festival that you really respect was a really big deal. And it was like a pretty old film festival, like as in like a lot of years had passed. And it was a big deal to me. And I was like, I gotta go and meet people and whatever. This is the trailer, by the way. This is the trailer for that film. Yeah. So that film got selected to a film festival, and I went down there, and I was really excited. And I showed up way too early, and I didn't have a check-in at the hotel. So I decided for 4 hours to sit instead of, you know, paying to check into the hotel early because I got some communication mixed up. I decided to go and wait on a park bench and do some work on my laptop and enjoy the Florida weather. And it was like May. I think it was like May. It was pretty hot. Anyways, long story short, I go to the film festival and I watch my film. And I show up to the theater and I'm the first person there. And then a second person walks in, and then a third person walks in, and a fourth person walks in, and then 2 more people walked in. And then my film started. I went from Toronto to Florida to watch my film with 5 people, 2 of whom were filmmakers who were also watching their films. I will never forget that. It pissed me off so much. I know it's not anyone's fault. There was a really big film playing at the same time, some big feature with some big actors, John Hamm or whatever. And I remember thinking like how small I felt in that moment, how insignificant I felt. And I was just like, you know what? I will not let filmmakers feel this way. And so that's what drives me. Talk about why. That's my why. That no filmmaker who ever comes to Pendance would feel how I felt. So then these filmmakers coming from Australia, from Bangkok, from India, from Austria, from Germany, from Colombia, we got films from all over the world. These people are coming here and they're expecting to see their fucking films with like 100 people, at least 100 people, 120, 130, 140 people. Well, you know what? In some way, my work by promoting this festival here will hopefully get people to come and watch these films. And they're great films. They're great films. Way better than this film that I made. Way better than that film. So yeah, it's a service. It's a service. And my why for Pendance is, I watch the corporatization of content and films across film festivals. I watch people make increasingly neutered art. I call it neutered art because it is void of any meaning, controversy, truth. Because really, at some point, when you start taking controversy and politics and start throwing, these buzzwords of, shit into your art, you're basically neutering your art. And when you neuter art, you take truth out of art. You take originality out of art. We need original people. In a world that is increasingly copycat, I pride myself on the fact that Pensari basketball is fucking original as hell. Whenever someone tells me the reason I watch Pensari basketball is because you are not repeating what everyone else is saying. Exactly. That is the concept. And my reason for Pendance ultimately is because I want that one day when I have children, for them to have a film festival they can go to where original shit is coming. Original content, original works of art from all over the world, void of any political judgment, void of any neutering. Truth, just straight truth. Controversial or not, doesn't matter. Fuck that. Truth is important. So that's what Pendance is about to me. Doing service for these filmmakers, doing service for my hypothetical child 10 years from now, having a festival they can go to. And who knows, maybe my kid is going to be a volunteer at Pendance and then run Pendance 30 years from now. I have no idea. But that's my why. And that's why I've poured my life into this. And that's what drives me on a day-to-day basis. So yeah. Facts. Hoodie Mellow, absolutely, man. Yeah. Do you ever think about how much you are doing? Pendance, filmmaking, Pensari, that's crazy how much you do. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, like my parents died when they were 50 and 44. I'm 36. I always imagined that I would die at 47. That's stupid and probably a dumb way to think about things, but my parents died at an average age of 47. So I worked when I was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 because I kind of just assumed that life was not very long. Some people have parents who live until 90, and I'm very happy for those people. Those people probably assume they have a lot longer to live than I do. I don't take days for granted. I try to do my best with my days because I don't think that these days are forever. I've lost some of my best friends at a very early age. One of those best friends is this lovely friend right here, Christina, who passed away at the age of 33. One of the actors from my feature film, Rob Cormier, he passed away at 33 as well. So life is never as long as you think it is. I mean, when I was growing up, I lost friends at 15, 17, 16, so many. So, I mean, yeah, I've never been under the guise that life is forever or you have endless amount of time. Maybe you don't have endless amount of time. Maybe you do. But you know what? If you assume that you have 47 years, well, guess what? Year 48, year 49, year 50, 51, 52, these are all blessings. And man, if I assumed at a young age that I had 47 years to do what I got to do in this world, well then, man, if I hit 80, I'm good. I'm on borrowed time. It's great. So I would love to live till 100. I would love it. When I was younger, I used to say nah, that's bad. No. I would love to live to 100 years old, man. I'll probably still be doing shit. I'll probably like still be writing. I'll probably still do something. I have a long plan for my life, but life does not go as planned. So make the most of every day. And making the most of every day probably doesn't mean going on Twitter Spaces right now, but yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And probably going on Twitter Spaces for 5-10 minutes anyway for the comedy, but I'll hop off real soon because I got a lot of shit to do for Pen Dance. Peace.